You're up and it's still dark. Kick back with a cup of Joe. You know you've got friends waiting on 1620 The Zone. It's Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Listen on the radio stream or YouTube or podcasts. Anytime it feels right. It's Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer.
All right, welcome in. Happy Friday. It's Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning. TGIF, everybody. We're going to get some good weather this weekend, decent enough. And I wonder if people might find their way out onto the golf course or something like that. And certainly they'll be in the local basketball arenas to watch the local basketball games. Good morning, gents.
Good morning. Good morning. I have a question.
All right.
Why does it smell like skunk in Dundee as often as it does? Or whatever we want to call this area.
Happy Hollow, I think it's over. I was driving over there and I smelled skunk.
And I mean literal skunk,
Yeah.
not like when someone says it smells like skunk and it's actually referencing other things. that
Weed?
have a smell. Yeah, I'm not talking about weed.
Okay.
I know the difference. It
You know
smells
the
like
difference?
skunk. I'd say like 3 days of the week when I get out of my car right in the parking lot.
Wow. I have never noticed this.
You didn't notice today?
Uh-uh.
And I know Joey mentioned it the other day, so I was like, all right, I'm not crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's-
What happened to my
Is there
nose?
just like a couple skunks running around the
They-
heart of Omaha?
They like to hang around Farnham.
I mean, there
that's
do
for sure.
be skunks. Like, skunks are just around.
Well, yeah, no, it's not that I'm unfamiliar with the concept of skunks. I just wouldn't expect them in such a populous part of the area.
Do skunks go to densely populated areas?
I would think the skunks would be out by me in the less populated portion of it. In
I mean,
Lincoln, where I used to live at the edge of town,
I don't know
I would
if-
run into skunks occasionally. I'd be walking Slider, and it would be late at night, and I would see the shape of something, and I would get concerned that it could be a skunk. So we would turn around. Sometimes it would be a coyote. Sometimes it
Where
would be a fox.
are they hanging out?
But yeah, I don't want to mess with skunks.
I don't either.
Do they hang out on Farnham? Is there something about Farnham that makes skunks want to spend their time there?
Maybe.
I mean, the houses are big. They know the people over there got money.
they're big and old. That's true. They're after their money. They
Wow.
want to steal.
Skunks? What do skunks do with money?
Maybe they
They don't take baths.
the houses are really old around
Yeah.
here, so they just like found their little burrows over the years. I don't think they
Skunk
care
burrows.
whether it's a densely populated area or not. They're just like, wherever I could dig out a little hole and just, climb down in there.
Yeah, I guess I would have, for whatever reason, just assumed that they are on the fringes and then work their way in.
Have you ever felt threatened by a skunk?
No, the only time I was walking Slider, it was probably 10 o'clock at night, and I was going down 98th Street in Lincoln. I was technically going north, so going up 98th Street in Lincoln. And it was dark, and I watched this thing cross the road, and 98th Street is the edge of town. And so there's
So you were out in the
fields,
middle of nowhere.
like an open
Yeah.
field over there. And like I said, I was used to seeing coyotes, fox, whatever. You go for a walk, you could see animals. It was oftentimes endearing and cool, and Slider would freak out. And then Hudson would love seeing the fox.
Of course. He doesn't know
Um,
he's in danger.
The only
Right.
only
But
time I've
this one, you could tell the tail was different. The shadow of it was different. Skunks have been killed on Old Cheney as I would be coming into 98th. Just roadkill. And I would see them, or you'd smell it at that point in time. And I just like totally panicked. Like I did not want to get any closer to this thing. Slider was doing the dog thing where they like are pulling up on the leash, and he's got his back flat, and he's kind of like he wants to see what this is. And we just turned around and walked the path back instead of finishing off the loop door.
That mess you up, man.
I am not like, if I can avoid a skunk for the entirety of my life, I'm happy.
Are you scared of skunks?
Yeah, I don't want to mess with a skunk. I don't want a tomato juice bath. I've seen Rugrats.
There you go. That's a good reason to not want to hang out with a
hang
skunk.
with Rugrats. It could be a different.
Sorry, Joey. What?
I've not encountered a live skunk in my lifetime. Anytime I've seen one, it's laid flat dead on the roadway.
It's better that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't root
Roadkill.
for the death of skunks.
I kind of do. I mean, it sounds like you do.
I just don't want them near me.
All right. But you're also concerned that they're in Dundee, which is fairly where you have to be for
Well,
5 hours a day.
I'll be honest. I'm not super concerned about my walk from my car to the door.
Okay.
You know, I'll have my key card ready so I can get in quickly.
I just want to make sure we straighten this out. It's weird that I didn't notice. I think I have decent senses.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have accused you of being oblivious to the sense of smell, having been around you before. I mean,
yeah.
And I know
I'm
where
usually
you
not
used to
oblivious
work,
to much.
where the microwave in that place could like set off the entirety of the building.
That's true. We will talk to a man later on in the show who still to this day denies that he started a fire via the microwave at that place.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he denies
was
it
he
again.
Was he also the? No, he's not a fish guy. But someone had microwaved fish there.
That
or
was
something?
that was me. It didn't even smell that bad.
You were the one that people complained about it.
I know they did. I brought fish for lunch one day and I microwaved it and it didn't even smell that bad because I made sure it didn't smell that bad because I took extra precaution. And people were like, they found out, like they saw with their own eyes that I brought fish and put it in the microwave, and they were like, "I can't believe you did that!" But they didn't actually.
They never smelled it. They only saw it and then had the visceral reaction that one would have.
They only either saw it or heard the news that a man brought fish into the office to be microwaved.
Well,
and then they lost it.
I wouldn't say a common workplace complaint, but it's a workplace complaint.
Oh, I'd say it's a very common workplace.
Workplace microwaves, like having rarely ever been in a job where you have like the communal space of eating, or
that's true. You usually just have house.
I work from a house, or I've worked in a radio station where I'm not eating there or whatever. I had like one office job ever, and it was a place where pretty much no one stuck around for lunch because it was like your work release, I guess, if you would, like you were excited to get out of that building for the hour.
Yeah.
Or they would cater in lunch so everybody dealt with the same smell no matter what. So I don't really have like I don't have a lot of war stories of people bringing in lunch.
I don't either, for the record. I have a relatively similar experience to you, but like if people bring in something that is famously bad smelling, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if it actually smells or not.
So interesting. I don't recall that aspect of the story. I just remember that there was someone who had brought in fish, and it was
that's my side.
Complaint.
That's my side. We could ask Jake about it a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's still denying setting the fire, so he's probably going to go in on you for the fish.
That'd be my guess, and I will go in on him for starting the fire.
We'll be at an impasse.
Mm-hmm. We will.
I'm impartial. I won't make a decision,
as we usually are. All right. So that's our lineup today with young Jake joining us, talker to Bill Moose, question asker of Bill Moose. We'll talk to him about that and about Nebraska basketball. I am curious. We might need to write these things down. Did you see the list of alumni in town for Nebraska ball this weekend?
I haven't.
It's like this extensive list, longest list ever, obviously, because how good they are. And so people want to come back.
It is a fun weekend for that program. Last year was really, really important. I believe it's, I don't want to get this name wrong. So I think it was Larry Florence. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So there was a big push for everybody to get back because Larry Florence was in really bad health. And they wanted everyone that had played with him or just kind of had known him to be around for this because they weren't sure if he was going to make another one.
Right.
I believe he did pass.
Yep.
And so it was like BC said it was a really emotional, it was a big deal to have it. Last year, they had a lot of guys show up for the first time in years, kind of reconnect themselves to the program. I guess it went a lot deeper than just sort of the normal alumni weekend.
Right. So this is sort of a normal alumni weekend, but it's also like the numbers are as good as they've ever been, most ever. So I want to ask Jake, as a Nebraska ball historian, who his favorite on the list is.
I'll be curious about that
because he doesn't like. He's one of the guys that doesn't like the good players. He just, maybe it's a name, maybe it's something they did, maybe it's the fact that they were 6'10" and they shot only 3-pointers.
There's good, and then there's like Nebraska basketball good.
That's also true. Yes.
So, like there might be a player in there that he likes that wouldn't probably have cracked the rotation at Kansas.
No.
But, was at least noteworthy in their own way.
Most certainly. Nebraska ball, like it has become a game around here naming Nebraska ball players.
We should have him build his all-time team as 1 through 5.
Okay. Wow.
That way we get more than just one answer.
But then, even if he made a mistake and picked somebody that he didn't really want to pick or he was rushed into it, he would still defend it with his life. So I'm excited
Would you be able to do that?
A Nebraska ball all-time team?
Yeah.
I mean, it would probably only be guys like the best players starting after like 2005 or something.
That's fine. I mean, that's still 17 years.
And the only time I watched
my math is so bad. 17 years. That's still 21 years.
It's a lot of years. Wow. People who are 21 years old were born in 2005. That's absurd.
Well, young Matt was born in 2001 after 9/11. So
that's still really weird to me. I watched for the first basically until I went to college, or maybe a couple years before, maybe in high school. The only time I ever watched Nebraska basketball is when they played Kansas.
Sure.
And that was because that was always on ABC.
It was a big Monday game at least once a year.
And it was usually on the week. In my memory,
there
it was
a
on
Saturday
the
game.
Yeah.
It basically like the local cable Saturday game, and then it was on ESPN the other day.
Only time I ever watched them. Only time I ever watched. I knew nothing
well,
about
you would
it.
have seen one win in that stretch.
And it was a lot of fun when they won that one game. Yeah. I was amazed that they had the basketball on the court.
I had to miss that game, even though I had been in the red zone and pretty much hadn't missed games.
Oh.
But I had my surgery for my labrum, and I didn't want to like be jostled around in the red zone because it was still like a week from having it done or having had it just done or whatever. And so I missed it, and then I was like really annoyed that I was not there.
I think Bo Spencer might be on my team because I just remember going to one game in college where I couldn't convince my friends to go with me for some reason, and there was the game that they were playing Indiana and they won.
And Bo Spencer went nuts.
Bo Spencer was the only guy who scored. I think Jorge Brian Diaz like sealed it with a field goal or a free throw. And he might be on my all-time team. It just might be the entire starting lineup from that game.
So you're really big into the year that got Doc Sadler fired.
Yeah, I guess it would have been Doc's last year.
2010, 2011.
Yeah, I was in college. Yeah.
There you go.
that was my friend. No, it would have been the next year, I think.
That'd be 2011, 12.
It was 11, 12, yeah.
Is that the year that I thought that was Miles' first year, but Miles' second year?
It could have been Miles' first year. It could have been Miles' first year because, I specifically remember it was Doc's last year, by the way. But I do remember while I was in school, Miles going around and like trying to, juice up the program.
Sure.
Like, he would bring in. I remember going on a facility tour, like not a quote unquote facility, like Miles like came out front and people lined up at the door and he was like, "Come on in." And he took everybody around their brand new facility at the time. So the 2011, 2012, this is a great track to be going down to start the show. Was that the year they beat Indiana? Yes, 70-69 at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. I will click on the box score from that game. Starters were, for Nebraska, they were Bo Spencer.
Yep.
Tony McRae.
Yep.
Brandon Richardson.
Yep.
Caleb Walker. I loved Caleb Walker. He did nothing except for jump really high. And then Brandon Ubell. And then two guys off the bench, Dylan Talley and Jorge Brian Diaz.
Multiple of those guys were multi-year starters.
Yeah.
I mean, McRae was, Richardson was.
Ubell definitely was.
Ubell was. Ubell is like kind of a front court player that Nebraska could have used in any era, and unfortunately he played in one where he had really no other help around him.
Correct.
No, I always felt bad for him.
The Indiana starting lineup that day featured Cody Zeller and Victor Oladipo.
Yeah. couple names there.
Yeah, those guys were
one
those
of
guys
them,
ended up being
both
okay.
Of those lottery picks? They both might have been lottery picks.
This must have been, I don't know how many years Oladipo played 3 years in college, and this was his second.
Okay.
So he wasn't really doing much at the time. I do remember him being
he hadn't become Oladipo.
He was not. He was pre-Oladipo. He only scored 5 that night, but Zeller had 18, and Jordan Hulls had 12 for Indiana. Gus Johnson was there.
Wow.
And the red zone.
Gus Johnson is part of a lot of things for you.
Well, he is quite present in my life.
No one but me would remember you were the first ever Hypecast guest that we had that wasn't part of Husker 24/7. So you were the first ever guest.
Sorry.
And you had to make the first ever oddly specific prediction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And yours was that Gus Johnson would mispronounce a name.
Well, it was specifically that he would mispronounce Vokalek. I'm pretty sure it was. And I nailed it.
Yep.
Now, I believe I also predicted what he would say to mispronounce it, and I got that slightly wrong.
Right.
But I did correctly guess that he would mispronounce.
No, you were the first one in the history of our of the Hypecast going from first me and Brunts and then me, Brunts, and BC to then we added guests. You were the first guest. That was the first oddly specific prediction, and it was Gus Johnson.
So after that, you guys were like, all right, maybe we need to keep doing this guest thing. And then
we had already kind of built out doing the guest thing all year. You just happened to be first.
Dang it. Text from the 402. Jake loves Vincent
that
Hamilton.
That was COVID,
Vincent Hamilton.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was COVID. It was the 2020 Ohio State game.
That was the first game of the year.
Which we found out this week that Nebraska basically got the shaft from the Big Ten from with their schedule that year. They played the hardest schedule by far in the league that year, all because they were offended that Bill Moose was trying to get them to move to the Big 12.
Interesting. It wasn't that they were offended, that they were very vocal about playing football that year.
That and both of them.
That's what Bill Moose intimated at the time. This was back when he famously wanted the Big Ten West and Big Ten East games to not count towards each other. Just Big Ten West games.
What a great and normal idea.
Was that in the book? I don't think it was.
I didn't read the book. I read the excerpts that were screenshotted on Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
No. Text from the 515. How old is young Jake and how old are you guys? What a great question. He actually is like smack dab in between us, I believe.
Yeah, Jake is 36.
Yeah.
I'm 38.
I'm 34. Or 33.
I'm 26.
You will be 30.
I will be 34 in a couple months. At the end of college baseball season, which is today, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year to all of those who celebrate. We could touch on that. I saw a really good bit yesterday that was going around. Maybe people saw it, of like the presumed college baseball bracket. I don't know if you did or not. All right, good. We'll pull this up a little bit later on in the show. I thought it was pretty funny. Speaking of brackets, I want to also bring to your attention, Schaefer, this other guy who his like magic trick is to remember all of the NCAA tournament brackets, like every single matchup.
Wow.
And how every game went for the last 15 years. And I'm going to make the case that it is the most impressive thing a human has ever done. Do you remember when the guy climbed up that tower a couple weeks ago without a leash, without a cord? This is more impressive. This is cooler. So I will make that case a little bit
incredible
later on. I have a question. The spring game is back, but why?
That's fair. I like that question.
I thought we murdered the spring game last year. Combine
rose from the ashes of the Husker games.
Apparently,
like a phoenix in the sky.
Combine invites go out. Maybe today we will get to Schaefer's Creighton question. Schedule alert, Joey. Wake up!
Someone say schedules.
The NFL may play opening night on Wednesday this year to accommodate
Wednesday
the
night
country
football
of Australia.
I don't know.
Just remember, Wednesday at 7 p.m. is noon on Thursday over there, so we get it to Thursday night.
Why do we get an Australian
Thursdays?
time update every day?
It's a great question. I don't know. This is the way Joey's brain works.
It is the way Joey's brain works.
The Pacers and the Jazz tanked too hard that MFers want to find them.
Whoa.
That is happening in the NBA. Eligibility is fake. Thank you, Trinidad Chambliss. And then we'll jump into the basketball this weekend. And one more topic. Apparently, millennials are poor and are eating too many rotisserie chickens.
Wow.
We have
I knew the first. I didn't know about the second.
We have a lot of great stuff to bring your way today. We would love to hear from you. 402-951-1620. on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number, tweet at Happer and Schaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on Twitter, email Connor, Mike, Joey, 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody, including Kevin, who sent us all lovely Valentine's Day cards.
Yes, he did.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
It's on my desk right now. The message has been received. We'll be back and fire things up after this on 1620 The Zone. Every once in a while, there is an article that will dive into the dynamics that has made millennials and Gen Zers the way they are, and some of the things that they are doing to not help society. Basically,
People eating Tide Pods again.
It's not that.
When will they learn?
It's not that. What's the word for it? Absurd, I
Okay.
guess. They're using reason here. Now, I think this article is written in somewhat of a bubble, but you be the judge. This is from the Wall Street Journal yesterday. Headline:
It's hard to imagine the Wall Street Journal writing in a bubble.
The booming business of luxury grocery stores. I will read you. Here's the subheadline.
How did you end up here, by the way?
I saw it on Twitter. People are making fun of it. A new crop of gourmet grocers has hit the city, drawing lines of trendy TikTokers, Maha curious health fiends, and Instacart devotees who want to pop in for a treat.
Wow.
Have you heard of any of those words?
Well, TikTok,
Good.
Instacart,
Yeah. I never Instacarted anything, and I don't think I will.
devotees. I'm aware of the word.
That's it. That word makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I mean, I would say I would know most of the words.
Let me read you something.
Will I know the
Some
stores?
things.
I guess is kind of the question.
It's kind of about the stores. It's kind of about the stores taking advantage of the millennials,
Okay.
and it's kind of about the millennials.
Am I sidetracking things if I ask you like what you would consider to be a luxury grocery store?
This is a totally. I don't think we have any here.
Okay,
I think this is like a new
You're
thing.
gonna say because like are we talking Whole Foods?
Yeah, I was
don't
gonna
know
say,
that I
like,
think that's
No.
like a
Whole Foods or
luxury.
Trader Joe's.
Whole Foods are out.
Yeah.
Whole Foods aren't trendy with the youths anymore.
Okay, Trader Joe's.
No, more luxury than
More
that.
See, and I
upscale.
don't
So
know
there,
what that
it's like
would
a
be.
whole new idea where basically they are applying some of the same logic that people that businesses use in order to create demand for their
Sure.
stores, like take a ticket and get in at a certain time.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
and all the stuff is just absurd. All right, so let me read you a couple things. Gen Zers and millennials are swimming in student debt and may never own homes, but they're splurging on gut-healthy juices and rotisserie chickens. New York City as a whole is in the midst of an affordability crisis. I'll read the next sentence. One that helped elect Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Yet, that just had to be thrown in there. Yet a new crop of luxury prepared food purveyors is drawing massive crowds in Manhattan and driving social media discourse. Influencers fill aisles in search of trendy nut butters and overpriced salads. The stores are packed on weekends with teens who inhale frozen yogurt. Business is booming, but can it last? Sammy Nussdorf, who is a visitor of the store, quote, well, or maybe it's his store. I'm sorry. It's his store in general. Quote, I wanted people to feel like they just took a Xanax when they walk in, Sammy says of the airy, polished Meadow Lane. His store, named after the Lux Street in Southampton, opened in November, the conclusion of a 2-year journey that he meticulously documented on TikTok. He taste tested chicken salad recipes and jumped through hurdles for permits. He says he was inspired by farmers markets in Los Angeles and grab-and-go shops in the Hamptons, places that epitomize the current craze for all things healthy. Quote, nightclubs in New York kind of died, the 28-year-old New Yorker says. The health and wellness sector is moving the needle. No comment yet?
Nightclubs are dead, says 28-year-old man.
It's perfect. It's like millennial makes fun of I mean, this is just incredible stuff. Or Gen Z makes fun of Gen Z. You can trace the roots of the new gourmet grocers back to Erewhon, which originally opened as a small health food store in Boston in the 60s. Around the same time, George Osawa's book, Zen Macrobiotics, introduced to the West the concept of the macrobiotic diet, which hippies popularized. With what began as a counterculture movement went mainstream, shaping an understanding of health and nutrition that still dominates American culture today. Clearly, considering I've definitely heard of that. All right.
Yeah, the bubble of which this writer lives in and this story exists is quite small.
Grocery stores have remarkably low profit margins, but the ones that could sell high volumes and minimize overhead tend to stick around. When Amazon acquired Whole Foods in 2017, it brought its deep pockets and vast delivery infrastructure to the business, though it still hasn't increased its market share of the grocery industry to more than 4%. For smaller players, owning their real estate and means of production can be a boon. Dean and DeLuca closed its New York location in 2019, facing steep debts and including unpaid rent. And so now they're apparently, you're getting to the gist of the story. Apparently, they have created this sort of weird lane where they have like the margins are still what they are for these grocers, but they have found ways to trick millennials and Gen Zers into showing up and buying expensive, like things that are way more expensive than they should because it's on social media and it's on TikTok, which is a great complaint about our generation. It's a wonderful complaint about our generation.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be rubes and lemmings out there who do something because they see it on the internet, or this is how, generally advertising or buzz or demand is created and then works. So, I mean, I didn't know that it could be applied to luxury high-end grocery stores that cater to a macro diet of hippies. But a lot of words in there.
Everybody contributes to society in their own way.
So rotisserie chicken is a big factor in this. Apparently.
We're eating a lot of rotisserie chicken and we're spending too much money on it, and that's why we can't buy houses.
This feels a lot like when I was told that people couldn't buy houses because of avocado toast.
All I hear is people not being able to buy houses these days.
Well, we do live in an area where buying houses is a lot easier than other
There's
areas.
no doubt. We live in a very friendly Midwest city.
We also, income-wise, make less money, too. So it sort of all works into itself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had avocado toast? I still have never had it.
I've had it a lot of times. It's pretty good.
I think
It's
I
good?
started at some point avoiding it for the principle of it because I didn't want to be labeled as a
I'm just
millennial,
not
which
like
is
the
a very
biggest-
millennial take. But
I'm not the biggest avocado guy. They're fine. Like
not
I don't
either. I'm
I don't
with
like
you.
go out of my way to have guac. But I'm not like upset if it's involved with something.
Yeah, same.
Does that make sense?
I don't need it, but if it's there, I'm fine with
Yeah,
it.
like I'm not
It's
going
a
to be like,
great
oh
way to
God,
put it.
I won't ever have guac, but I'm not ever going to be like, oh, I need this.
A lot quote from a grocery store visitor. A lot of people come in for the rotisserie chicken and veggie sides, and that's their dinner. People are busy. They don't want to cook. That certainly seems to be true in the Hamptons, where the newly renovated Sagaponack General Store had visitors lining up this summer for $13 breakfast sandwiches and $65 tote bags. They also throw other expensive items into the grocery store.
Wow. Tote bags.
$65 tote bags.
Some people don't want to use the plastic bags or paper bags. They want their cloth bags.
They're very
Some
cool bags.
People might not believe this because I do eat a lot of chicken, but I've never actually went and bought a rotisserie chicken.
I haven't got one in
I've had
forever.
rotisserie chicken, but I've never personally been the one to buy and pay for a rotisserie
I would
chicken.
like the thing about rotisserie chickens is that they are cheap.
Mhm.
And there's a lot
Yep.
of food there. Like I get the rotisserie chicken and I put it in my, I chop it up and I put it in my fridge from Costco. It costs like $5 and it's in
Right.
there for 4 days.
Yeah.
And I can put
And
it
you
on
can mix
whatever.
it and use it for different meals.
You
and
mix it,
whatever
or
else.
sometimes I just go in there and I pick out it.
Wow.
I'm just like, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Sometimes I don't even cut it and I grab it like a barbarian and I just like reach into the chicken and
You
grab
just ripping
chicken.
the drumstick right off.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really disgusting that way.
Incredible.
This is a perfect time for a phone call from our dear
I was just lamenting we hadn't
friend.
heard from old man Doug in a while.
Well, now we could all be satisfied. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. I've been more of a listener than a contributor, but I am going to contribute this morning, and based upon what you were just talking about. So the housing affordability. I do want to tell our listeners out there, you don't have to do it at my bank, but you can get a first-time home buyer's grant of $15,000.
It's nice. Yeah.
I saw this.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm a little
Tax-free.
jealous.
If your household income, I think in Douglas County last year it was $87,000. Now you have to do it through a bank, you cannot do it through a mortgage company because mortgage companies do not belong to the Federal Home Loan Bank. But you can, now there's limited funds and it starts March 1st. So I just want to give everybody hope.
This is great advice. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I have seen this.
Good to talk to you, Doug. See you later.
And it's one
All
of
right.
those things where when I bought my first house, this did not exist. And I was a little miffed.
I bought my house in the heart of COVID. In the
Oh, yeah, you did.
In the deep heart
I
of
do remember
COVID.
that.
So while it was quite competitive and we had to cut some corners from to actually get into the house, I have enjoyed the interest rate ever since.
Yeah.
And continue to do it to this day until one day very soon I will not get to enjoy it anymore. Because that's what happens when you have a child.
I wish
you have
that I
to
could
have
have
a bigger
my
house.
current house with my first ever interest rate, which came at
That would be a
very,
beautiful thing.
very repressed time. In,
I do think
home
of
buying
times like
world.
when I was in college and you decided that you wanted to live in a house with 5 people for some reason, and it's the best way to do it. I'm not gonna it just is, but it was amazing. Like turning in the check every month, and I thought like, oh boy, this is a big deal, and it was like $275. I'm like, man, this sucks. I'm out of money. And it's so you grow up and you'll have money. That's why I try to impart the wisdom on young Matt and say, don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll work it out. Young Nick, same thing. Young Nick's trying to buy a house. I'm like, Nick, you'll get there. Don't worry about it.
That is nice.
I'm
It's
taking
nice
my
of you
time.
to let him know that it'll be okay.
It will be. And Doug is here to tell you that there are first time home loans that you can.
Hopefully Nick is listening.
Hopefully Nick is listening. I have a sense that he's probably not going to
Geared up
wake
for
up
baseball.
until 9:00 today.
It's putting on his game face.
The first college baseball game begins at 9:30 this morning with Houston and Wake Forest in the Puerto Rico Challenge. All right. There you go. Shout out to the millennials. Shout out to the Gen Zers. Keep buying them rotisserie chickens. We'll be back with our city of the day. Mike Schaefer has the choice today, and he will introduce you to a city that he hopes to visit very soon. After this on 1620 The Zone. All right, a week ago, we set out on a mission. We said we'd like to highlight cities around the country as an excuse to talk about cities, geography, whatever else that we get into. Last week, we were able to highlight the home of the Super Bowl, Santa Clara, California. Super Bowl 60, which was played, and no Achilles were torn due to the electromagnetic
I hadn't
force
even
field.
considered that.
Yeah,
There wasn't like any real injuries either.
there wasn't really any injuries or hardly any penalties.
Yeah,
there
it was kind of nice.
It was just a football game. Yeah. Although it wasn't a particularly competitive football
No.
game. It was just a football game. So we talked about Santa Clara and its rich history last week. And now we already do have a city, I think, pretty much sealed up for next week.
And a guest.
To go along with it. So stay tuned for that. We'll go a different sort of population center on that one. But today we want to highlight a city that Mike Schaefer wants to find himself in about 6 weeks. Schaefer, tell us about Oklahoma City.
The epicenter of Nebraska basketball's wish list for the NCAA tournament this year is Oklahoma City, the most drivable of the locations. If you're in Nebraska, now there are people that live in other areas that are like, I want to go to Greenville. It's by my house.
Yeah.
And they're probably, a very small minority.
What do you say to the people who want to go to St. Louis?
I would not like to go to St. Louis.
Why do you hate St. Louis so much? It's magical.
It's not really magical at all. It's St. Louis.
I only like it as a basketball tournament town.
Yeah. I mean, because you have fond memories of Arch Madness.
I do. It was great.
You and the Creighton people talk about St. Louis with a reverence.
I remember driving down to St. Louis because we were going to go to the semifinal and the final. Should Creighton have been there, being nervous the entire time, listening on the radio as Creighton was getting beat by Evansville. And I thought I might have to turn around.
Turn around on I-70?
Yeah, I just said, I'm like,
turn around at one of the stops for a Lion's Den?
I don't know what I was going to do.
14 that's on the way.
It would have been like
wait, you actually count?
It would have been like me last year when I was in New York on Thursday night, and I was like, "Oh my God, Creighton's losing to DePaul, and I'm here until Sunday morning. This is not good. I have to go back to Omaha now." And then they didn't. They won another game after
double overtime.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, this has nothing to do with St. Louis or New York. This is Oklahoma City.
Yep.
The place where Nebraska could play should they maintain a relatively high seed here in the is it low seed? What do you do with this? How do you
I would call it high seed, but I know people who refer to it as low seed. Yeah.
You maintain a relatively high seed, you get the opportunity to play a little bit closer to home. Now, the way that Kansas is playing, and obviously Houston, are two teams that could steal Oklahoma City from Nebraska.
No.
So you have to keep an eye on that as well. But right now, I would say most brackets have Nebraska playing in Oklahoma City, which is
keep in mind every host city has 2 pods.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying if you end up with both Houston and Kansas, that would sort of take away both of those, as they would be the conceivably. Now,
your consolation prize is St. Louis.
These teams play each other this weekend, by the way. Houston and Kansas play each other.
Now that's a basketball game.
That'll be fun.
And then I think Kansas turns around and plays like Texas Tech or someone.
Darren
right
Peterson
after that.
will be nowhere near that game.
So there's some good basketball in the Big 12. So nothing is decided there. But if Nebraska
Houston, by the way, does not play Kansas this weekend. They play Kansas State tomorrow, which is a different thing.
Why am I off on this? I swear I just saw that they are set to play.
Houston plays Iowa State.
You're just getting into basketball.
Iowa State
shape.
plays who?
Iowa State plays Kansas this weekend. That's a good game.
Maybe I just invented.
How about this? So
in
Houston plays K-State this weekend. Win. People are wearing bags over their heads in Bromwich Coliseum. Sure. Iowa State, Arizona, and Kansas is a 3-game run for Houston over the next 2 weeks, starting Monday.
Maybe I somehow saw that and then just put Kansas to the front of the line and not Kansas State.
Maybe you're Kansas pilled.
I swear I saw something that made me think that this was happening. Anyways, back to Oklahoma City. This would be the spot that most Nebraska fans would be able to get to, drivable distance, would be able to take over Bricktown. There is a Nebraska feel to the whole thing because of the glory days of the Big 12 baseball tournament that was held down there in Bricktown. Now, we did have Mitch Sherman on a few weeks ago, and he said it doesn't have the same feel as the early 2000s. that Bricktown has changed
It wouldn't
over.
be a whole Big 12 reunion,
Sure.
as it always was.
But it would just be a city takeover. And I mean, you talk to anybody that went to Memphis in 2024 when Nebraska played last in the NCAA tournament, and there was, Nebraska fans descended upon the city. Like they took over Beale Street.
This is usually how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you put it relatively close to Lincoln.
They'll be
or
there
to-
if
to
it's
Omaha.
in San Jose, or I don't
I
know.
don't know that it would have the same. And well, that would be the second weekend, which would just be incredible on its
Oh.
own.
Give me another random site.
Buffalo.
They would be in Buffalo.
I don't know that
Nebraska fans will be up in Buffalo.
I don't know if it will have the same level. Like there's
No,
a
it wouldn't be
certain-
the same level.
because there's a drivability to Memphis, there's a drivability to St. Louis, there's a drivability to Oklahoma City that you just wouldn't have with Buffalo. So and then just cost prohibitive. for
Anyway,
some
we
reason.
have to learn about Oklahoma City.
So yeah, you have it down here as a estimated population in 2024 of 712,919 people.
Nice city.
Media market number 47.
Number 47. Omaha's 73, I believe, at this moment.
It was the one-time home of the New Orleans Hornets after Katrina.
Okay, so here's an important part, and this is why I want to bite back on City of the Day. Oklahoma City stole business from Omaha. All right.
Oh wow.
Before
Interesting.
World War II, Oklahoma City developed significant stockyards, attracting jobs and revenue formerly in Chicago and Omaha. With the 1928 discovery of oil within city limits, including under the state capitol, Oklahoma City became a major center of oil production. So they had the oil, they had the stockyards, and they were cooking, which is part of the reason why Oklahoma City is a more major city than Omaha is today. Think of a world where that business stays in Omaha, more people stay in Omaha.
The oil
and
never would have been there.
The oil would have never been there, but maybe you don't have as big of a leg to stand on at that point. And then the Seattle Sonics moved to Omaha.
So I could have hated Omaha for stealing the Sonics.
You could have. It would have been a whole different
Was
world.
it Clay Bennett? Who's
Bennett. Bennett. I was looking at the story. Yeah,
Who's the guy that made that happen?
Clay Bennett.
Yeah.
You got it. Nice
So,
job.
You have that. I think a lot of people know of Oklahoma City for, unfortunately, the Oklahoma City bombing, which took place in the mid-90s.
Bad times.
It's a horrible, horrible domestic terrorist event in the United States. And they now have a monument that stands at the center of where that all
And
took
many
place.
people always say, like, hey, if you go there, you got to go. You gotta
Yeah,
go there.
and I assume it's got to be similar to the somber feel of going to Ground Zero and the 9/11.
It is.
That was wild.
Which, if you're ever in New York City, it's
Yes.
sort of awe-inspiring.
It's very moving.
And so I would highly recommend that. And if Nebraska does play in Oklahoma City, I will certainly be going to the
Only been there once. I went for the Nebraska Regional in 2019, where they were on the doorstep of
You saw the piss missile.
being the 2-0 team in that regional, and then that guy hit that ball into outer space.
Who do we remember the name of that player?
I believe his name was Trevor Boone.
Okay.
He hit the ball into the scoreboard.
And he never-
and it was lodged there for several days, months, and weeks. And only every once in a while, a clip from like the Oklahoma City, whatever their minor league team is there, because they play there too. It hits, and I'm like, I gotta go check and see if that hole is still there. They patched it within the last couple years.
Gotcha.
But I think it was there for like multiple years. The hole, it was in like the A in when they spelled out the ballpark, and it was. I mean, that was Nebraska. Nebraska baseball has been the victim of some really, really punishing postseason home runs. In the last several years, but that's a different time.
That led to the whole Shea Shanneman debate. If they should have went to Shea Shanneman instead of Kobe Gomez, and
Well, it was Kobe Gomez.
Yeah,
It was Kobe Gomez, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was him that year. Was that a
that was a
Chad
second.
Lunsman year, or was that
No,
did
that
come
would have been
after?
earlier. So that was, Waldron pitched that game,
Yeah, he was good.
and he was great.
Yeah.
He's now bouncing around the majors a little bit.
He's
too.
knuckleballing everybody out of the world. This is great.
He's kind of the only knuckleballer in Major League Baseball.
He
right
is
now.
doing excellent. He's
But yeah,
doing
Oklahoma City. We have made that city of the day. The Paycom Center is where the basketball games would take place.
That's right.
The last time they had the tournament, I remember looking this up when I talked about this here a few weeks ago. The last time they had the tournament, they had the Northern Illinois experience where they had the big win in round 1, and then they blew the lead against Texas A&M.
Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa. I said Northern Illinois. Yeah,
Shout out to
Northern
Missouri
Iowa.
Valley. Schaefer's Missouri Valley Pildy wants to go to St. Louis.
Half court shot against Texas.
That's right.
That was a crazy game.
The Oklahoman is their newspaper there. Barry Trammell used to work
Yep.
there. He doesn't work there anymore. Hi, this is Barry. That's what he would say when you
Would
would
Barry
call him.
come on your previous shows?
Barry would come on my previous shows.
Barry did a lot of radio, I think.
Barry
in the past.
loves radio. I don't know what Barry is doing now.
Probably radio.
He's not doing the Oklahoman anymore. And then he like tried to, I think, start his own thing.
Ah.
And I don't know that really worked. I don't know what Barry's doing. I'm not sure. But yeah, Barry, if you call Barry up, you say, it is Barry.
You
And
were
then-
essentially in Oklahoma City when you went to Norman in 2021.
I did not go to Norman. I've never been to Norman.
Didn't you go to the Nebraska Oklahoma game in 2021?
Nope.
Why did I think you were there?
I'm not sure. Maybe it was
For some
my
reason I thought you
20.
went.
I've never been to Norman. I have been to Stillwater.
Okay.
That's a lovely
I've
town.
been to Norman before they
Norman is
Added-
essentially
added more to
Oklahoma
that
City.
stadium.
I mean, it's just all the same thing.
Right.
Like it's hard to separate one from the other.
Shout out to Oklahoma City, our city of the day, which basically just ended up being a bracketology segment.
Yep.
Way
I
to
can
go.
tell you the weather would be somewhere between 45 to 70 degrees.
Tilo writes in, the lack of focus on this segment is phenomenal. I agree.
We'll be
Which-
more locked in next week.
Oh, next week we have to be locked in.
Yeah.
We will be speaking with a city councilman from Oxford, Ohio, who is a University of Nebraska graduate.
Yeah, and which is why we bumped Oxford, Ohio from this week
Now,
to next week.
the only thing that we have to keep our fingers crossed about is that they remain undefeated.
Yeah, that is a concern.
Yeah.
I had that concern when I had sent you the text like, "Hey, we're going to move this."
Mr. Snavely, we got him. Or Schaefer got him anyway. They play Ohio tonight. Miami of Ohio does, and UMass on Tuesday. And then if we get through that, we're 26-0, and we're talking to Mr. Snavely, and they're going to the.
How's it
They'll be
looking this
fine.
week for Miami of Ohio?
That's what I just said. Ohio.
No, I mean, well, what did they do earlier?
Oh,
leading into this.
They hadn't played all week.
wow,
They beat
they've had their rest week.
they beat Marshall last Saturday.
yeah,
Beat 'em up.
they'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be undefeated.
Okay, Joey said it, so it has to be true. We'll be back 7:00 hour coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. It's Friday here on Happer and Schaefer at 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Happy college baseball opening day. We are less than 2.5 hours away from the first college baseball game today. Nebraska will play at 8 tonight, actually. Oh, no, all times are Eastern. Well, so actually, the Houston-Wake Forest game, the first game starts at 8:30. We're an hour and a half away from college baseball. Nebraska will play at 7 tonight, and Creighton will play at 8 this evening. Let me check on the Mavericks as well. The Mavericks will play at 7:35. They have a 3-gamer in against Arizona State.
Speaking of the Mavericks, that was a big win for them yesterday.
Yes, it was.
In Summit League action, knocking off the. I don't know if St. Thomas is a second team. North Dakota State probably the first team in the Summit right now, but a big win and a reminder that UNO will be dangerous come tournament time.
I think,
they're finally playing their best basketball of the year.
They have put themselves into that conversation of like, oh, well, they could win 3 games. Yeah, you
don't want them on your side of the draw.
I don't think so either. You could say the same for any of the top. But yeah, they're not that far off of North Dakota State. They're not that far off of St. Thomas, obviously, because they beat them last night, and they're not that far off the Fighting Hawks of North Dakota.
Well, they've already beaten North Dakota and St. Thomas, and they gave North Dakota State a game for a while too.
By the way, Nebraska ball transfer Nick Janowski, St. Thomas player, averaging over 17 points a game this year, according to the KenPom All Summit League team updated from last night. He would be on the All Summit League team, the number 3 player in the league as just a redshirt freshman at St. Thomas. There you go. Nebraska ball taking over the world.
And they were taking over Baxter Arena last night.
Speaking of, that's right. They went and showed out for Mr. Jeanette. So who was all there? Joe, you were there. Who was all there? Rink
was there. Frager was there. I think Lawrence was there as well. I couldn't recognize.
I would assume Kendall Blue was there because St. Thomas was his former team.
Probably.
So,
it would be the first time I've seen Kendall Blue.
He has appeared in games like Oregon.
Yeah. I didn't watch that part of the game.
I was there. I saw him. I was like, Kendall Blue.
Hey, look, that's Kendall Blue. Sorry. All right. Sorry, Kendall. All right. I want to bounce this off of you because I do feel, well, you know what? I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'll explain it afterwards. I was looking on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and I saw a section in the college basketball tab that said 1 seed. And I thought, interesting. Let's see what they got. So these are odds to make the tournament as a 1 seed in about 6 weeks here, 5-6 weeks. Michigan minus 1,500.
Okay.
They feel as if they have locked up a 1 seed. Arizona minus 1,100. Duke minus 1,000.
Okay,
UConn,
so 3 of the 1 seeds are already locked in per the odds.
Well, UConn minus 260. And then Houston minus 135, which, like, don't get me started on the whole odds thing, but that's a different conversation. Other teams listed: Illinois plus 1,200, Kansas plus 1,200, Iowa State plus 2,700. You can currently not on FanDuel wager on Nebraska to be a 1 seed. Is the dream dead?
Dream could be dead. I mean, you can't lose 3 out of your last 4. They lost 3 games against the top teams that are on their schedule at this portion of the season.
It's funny. Like,
I think if they finished out at 28-3, I would imagine they would get capped out as a 2 seed.
I don't think really.
Depending on how they do in the
that resume would be so good. Now, it would lack a really, really marquee win.
Illinois would be their marquee win, depending
on the road.
Yeah,
on the road, which I suppose that is that would be qualified as a really, really marquee win. Not that you need just one; you need a whole bunch of them. But their losses are so good. Like, if they finish only those 3 losses. That is a spotless resume. I mean, that's really, really good.
I totally get it, but who would they go in above over there?
Well, I mean, are you projecting Michigan to be, undefeated the rest of the way? If that's the case, then you can't put them in.
Your best bet is that one of Michigan knocks off Duke. Like one of those 2 goes to a 2 seed.
Yeah, Michigan does play Duke.
Right. And they play each other. Michigan has a tough finish here.
Michigan has Purdue, Duke, Illinois, Iowa still to come. Michigan State.
I just sort of see it where like I have a really tough time seeing the path to Nebraska being a 1 seed. Maybe if they win everything, like they just went out entirely and they're 31-3, it'd be really hard to say no to that. Because then at that point you probably do have a win over Michigan if you're playing them in the Big Ten tournament.
Maybe. I don't know that would like
my
move the
guess
needle
is Nebraska's
much,
seed will be set pretty much before they even play Iowa at the end of the regular season.
Most likely. Yes.
Like,
that's the way
just,
these things work.
You know,
and you're right that a lot of it is dependent on what happens around you.
Right.
I mean, most of it at this point, just because it's so hard to climb that
Like,
ladder.
do I think they can jump UConn? Absolutely. I don't think they're jumping UConn and somebody else.
I mean, but that would be I just think about it from like almost like a vacuum perspective. That would be an absurd resume. If you went 28-3 in the regular season, won literally every game, your losses were to Michigan on the road, Michigan on the road,
Purdue's not
shorthanded, Purdue at home, and in Illinois at home, a team that you had already beat on the road, so it sort of like cancels it out. I don't know. That would be an absurd resume to not have a 1 seed from.
I could be entirely wrong. I mean, this is foreign territory for me, projecting what seed Nebraska is going to get lower than a 8. You know, so I don't want to pretend like I've got a lot of basis in reality here. It's hard for me to imagine that. Like, I think Duke is very likely to win the rest of its schedule that isn't Michigan. Like, the ACC just isn't that good.
It's not.
And
Great.
Duke is a
Thank you
very,
for
very
pointing
good
that
basketball team. Now, I know they lost to North Carolina on a buzzer beater, but
they play Virginia. They go on the road.
One.
They go on the road to NC State, and they have North Carolina to finish. Obviously, so that's a tough 3-gamer to finish,
Right.
but they're better than those teams,
right? And so I just anticipate that
even
Duke
though they
will,
lost to North Carolina.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if UConn, after losing to St. John's, rips off a bunch of wins. And the other thing is, you have to, whether they eliminate the name or not, Nebraska probably has to do just a little bit more than a UConn or a Kansas or a Duke to have a seed that's higher. In addition, you still have Houston, who, if they win a bunch of games in the Big 12, they could be a 1 seed. The Big 12 could have 2 1s. You could have Houston and Arizona.
Yeah,
you could have Houston and Kansas.
It's
you
a
could
tough,
have,
crowd to crack.
Yeah, and so
no
I
doubt.
don't think there's any shame if they're a 2 seed by any means.
There most certainly is not.
More likely,
There most
right now,
certainly
they're
is not.
probably on that 3 seed line, and they have to win 6 games going forward to kind of lock in the 3.
You know what? I haven't looked at the bracket matrix in a couple days. They're at the bottom of the 2 right now. And now a lot of these brackets,
they just don't have, I think, the opportunity. Now, there is something to be said. You stack a bunch of wins and you let other people lose around you, you're going to move up regardless.
Yep.
I just don't know that they're going to get a ton of credit for beating an Iowa team that just lost to Maryland, or winning at UCLA and USC in the same week stretch. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to be viewed.
I'm just saying, in a vacuum, their resume would look so incredible if those were their only 3 losses. I mean, you would certainly put them high. Like you said, I don't know that you would put them above any of the other teams who are just really, really. I mean,
no, Michigan spirals.
It really feels like the 3 of them, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke, are like almost set in stone.
Yeah,
at this point. And then like there's a 4th spot that's up for grabs between UConn, Houston, Iowa State, maybe Illinois.
Yeah. Illinois losing to Wisconsin and Michigan State back to back can not help it.
Gonna be tough to rejoin that crowd. That is for sure. Text from the 515. I just hope they don't crater down the stretch and end up a 7 seed or something. That would be hard to believe if they ended up as a 7 seed at this point, but I suppose you never know. By the way, speaking of the city of the day, we got a tweet from our dear friend Austin Jacobson, a part of Joey's 3 Amigos,
which will be soon disbanded, unfortunately.
Who are the other 2 Amigos besides Austin?
Well, Joey.
Because I've heard Joey refer to many different groups of people as 3 Amigos.
It's basically more than 3.
I thought the term was originated.
It was originated when you were calling the game in DePaul, and
then all of a sudden there was more people that were in that. So I thought it was just us 3, and then all of a sudden there was more 3 Amigos.
Oh, so you're one of the Amigos?
I was one of the original Amigos.
Yeah,
but now you've been excommunicated.
I think I got kicked out.
No,
wow.
you did not get kicked out.
Okay, so anytime it's us 3,
I think it has to be the Beatles, and then I'm unfortunately leaving the group. I have a Yoko Ono in.
Wow.
That's luring
Why are you
me out of the out
Why
of
are
the
you
group.
leaving? the group?
He's removing himself because he can't do Creighton games anymore because to wake up at like 2
But
o'clock.
you
in the
don't do
morning.
Creighton games anymore.
No, I never.
But
did. Yeah, I only did one.
I'm
Yeah.
working the full 6-hour coverage from shoot around to Blue Jay overtime.
And then Austin was doing the pregame.
Yeah.
And then I was doing the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Matt's in there. I don't know who else is in there.
I think
it's a nebulous sort of thing, Joey, right?
Yeah.
I think you can still get to be an amigo.
Everybody was involved except for Jimmy Allen, and he got a little mad, so he formed his group.
Oh, you have a warring faction?
We
What the
did.
hell happens here after I leave the studio? at,
Teams
like,
and sides
10:30
are
every
taken,
day?
and then you never know what happens.
There
after
are
that.
things that go on after I leave at 10:30 that I do not claim. I do not claim to be part of.
Interesting. Maybe one day you'll be a part of it. Inside
You'll be a part of it.
I don't need to be a part of it.
I think you will.
I will let the first time I am here in the evening be the first overreaction show that I do.
Well, it is
Get ready.
it is a Creighton basketball based group, so
Yeah, I don't
you
wanna
wouldn't
do
want to partake in any of that.
Honk. Does John get to be in the Amigos?
Yeah, he's a part of it.
Okay, good.
He's a part of it.
Good. All right. Anyway, speaking of Austin, we got a tweet from Austin about
Hello,
City of
Austin.
the Day. Fun, lighthearted segment. Then Schaefer, quote, remember the Oklahoma City bomb? Which is exactly what you did in the City of the Day.
Well, if you're going to talk about Oklahoma City, how are you not going to talk about the biggest thing that ever happened
I
in
don't
the
know.
city?
You could just say, they had a bad thing happen one time. It was bad. Everyone knows it's bad.
You have to mention it.
You probably do.
It's a reminder that good and bad things happen in cities.
I do the same thing with the 9/11 museum. I always, anytime it comes up, I'm like, you got to go to the 9/11 museum. It's like the coolest and most moving thing ever, which it really kind of brings the mood down because you put yourself in those shoes in that situation. You're like, yeah, the Oklahoma City Bombing Museum, quite the experience. It's just the coolest thing I've ever done. And then all of a sudden you go down a road that you didn't intend on going down.
You know, it's if anyone's gone, you're in DC and you go to the Holocaust Museum, like it's an incredible exhibit to one of the worst things and atrocities that society has ever seen.
Indeed.
And someone asks you to like, what'd you think of it? And you're like, oh, I mean, it was good. And then you think about how you just phrased that, and it's like, well, I mean,
it's not really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly moving experience. I think these things are valuable for people to go to and experience.
It's similar to the like sometimes I'll catch myself if I'm at like a funeral and they'll ask like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm really not. Or like, it's so good to see you. And then I'm like, actually, I don't really want
That's
to be
where you're gonna have,
you right
understanding the circumstances.
That's what I always do.
Whatever.
I always drop that in late.
Yeah.
You know,
My dad would be the type of person that when he was asked about this would be like, well, I'm on the right side of the soil. And then he'd say that literally at the funeral.
Good bit.
Without any real like acknowledgement of that it wasn't even like
that guy's not, but I am.
It wasn't even like one of those things. It's just something that he would say because this is what
great dad
an old man would do in his 60s.
Excellent dad line.
Yeah.
I support it completely. The segment or the topic that we were going to throw at you during this segment is the latest in courts and college football. New segment. Courts and college
this
football.
Is a new
bum, bum, dun,
new
dun,
segment.
Bum, bum,
bringing back sports courts.
Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Well, the judge in this sports court ruled last night that Trinidad Chambliss, the Ole Miss quarterback who helped lead Ole Miss to the college football playoff semifinals, his name is Judge Robert Whitwell, ruled that Trinidad Chambliss is indeed deemed to be eligible for the 2026 college football season. He has met the criteria to receive a medical red shirt for one of his previous years. Whitwell, the judge, detailed that the NCAA ignored medical evidence in denying Chambliss's waiver, and the quarterback would suffer irreparable harm if he was denied this year. The judge concluded that Chambliss submitted adequate medical reference and that the NCAA did not act in good faith in denying the waiver. Eligibility is fake.
Generally, it's thought of when you practice all year and you don't play, it's not a medical red shirt. You're just on the bench. So the evidence must have just been incredible to the point where the coach even ignored it.
So the year that they got back was his second year at Ferris State. And the case that Chambliss's side made was that he had respiratory issues. He did not play a snap that season, nor did he dress for games. Now, once again, there's a variety of different reasons why you wouldn't dress for games. But he and his mother, Cheryl, detailed how significant the issues were during that 2022 season, which once again, we're talking about 4 years ago at this point, including Chambliss getting down to just 176 pounds. He testified that Ferris State coach Tony Anesi told him he'd be medical redshirted before the start of the 2022 season. Chambliss testified that he told his doctor that he was constantly sick and dealt with constant flare-ups from his medical situation in 2022. The NCAA had argued that Chambliss's medical records indicate that he chose to forego surgery in 2022 so that he could, quote, participate in the football season. Instead, he opted to manage his condition via medication. So basically, I want to say this. This case came down to people arguing whether the viability of his quote unquote injury or illness or whatever it was, and whether it was something that kept him out of football or not. And we're talking about an issue from 3+ years ago, from 3.5 years ago, when he was a completely different player. And there's no way that Trinidad Chambliss would be trying to get this year back had he not been taken from D2 Ferris State to Ole Miss to then start over Austin Simmons a couple of games into the season and lead them all the way to the college football playoff semifinal. Now, we saw how electric of a player he was. Yeah. But if he never goes to Ole Miss, and if he never plays at or even if he goes to Ole Miss and doesn't play there, and Simmons, is good to start the year, and they don't go to Chambliss, we're not talking about this right now because he's not going and applying for a 6th year. He's not trying to get that year back. And so I think that's a factor that needs to get thrown into the equation.
Yeah, and I've said this with Diego Pavia. I'll say this with Chambliss. I'll say it again with Joey Aguilar, though he has less of a story, I guess, about it. It's really cool that he's able to do this. Like, this is neat in the sense that he had a career that nobody saw coming, and that's really awesome. And now he's taking it away from somebody else having that opportunity. Yeah, effectively. Now,
definitely
would it be
a way
the
to
exact
look at
same? No idea. I mean, you don't know how that plays out. But the idea is that these guys are just inventing reasons to stick around in college forever. And sympathetic judges like this guy, who's purported to be an Ole Miss fan to begin with.
Yeah, I saw something last night about how he was like signing. There was Trinidad Chambliss was like signing footballs.
So here's Stuart Mandel.
Yikes.
45 minutes into the judge's preamble to his decision, which is clearly going to be in favor of Chambliss, he randomly brings up Carson Beck playing in the Fiesta Bowl and says incorrectly that he hadn't taken a class in 2 years. This is a judge that's involved in the case. Just bringing up Carson Beck for no reason, who, by the way, happened to beat Ole Miss in that game, claiming that he didn't take classes, which isn't accurate. None of this has any bearing or has any reason, and the whole thing was a farce. The NCAA lawyers didn't stick around for the judgment because they knew where this was going to go.
Yeah, like I feel like we get into
everyone knew where this was going to go before it even got there.
I feel like we get into this conversation sometimes where it's like, we end up arguing on the side of like, oh, you're anti like guys being able to live out their dreams. Like that's not the case.
We want parameters.
I just thought there were rules.
Yeah. I want everyone to have the opportunity to play college athletics, and that includes the guys that don't get the chance because we have 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th year players in the sport because this is their last grasp of getting money. Trinidad Chambliss likely isn't going to play in the NFL. Maybe he plays in the CFL or the AFL or whatever, and football can continue for him. But financially, the whole reason that he's getting 2022 back, a year that he spent on the bench while practicing, not a medical hardship, is because he can make hundreds of thousands of dollars of doing.
And once again, it doesn't
he's
exist.
Not suffering irreparable harm.
Yeah.
He's just being told you're not allowed to financially benefit in the way that you were because you can't stay in college forever, sir. Meanwhile, today or whatever the next case is for Joey Aguilar,
Dun, dun,
you're
dun,
going to
dun,
get an
dun,
8th year
dun.
for a guy who doesn't need it, who's already played in college football for 5 of those 8 years or 7 years prior. Again, there's no reason for any of this.
But the lawyers and player representatives and players themselves will always have a path here, especially in this case, because usually what they're trying to do is get medicals back, get medical red shirts back, get years in which they sat on the bench due to injury back.
And now when we have a 9-game red shirt, that's going to make it even worse.
That's also true. But what they're trying to what they'll always have the ability to do, because these are quote unquote kids, is tug at the heartstrings of people who are in charge. You could play the whimsical child baseball movie card. And it always works on me. I love a whimsical child baseball movie.
You're not a kid,
but I'd be a horrible judge.
You're not a kid if you're 25.
Exactly.
You're able to rent a car at that point. Like, that's the last thing that you need to be age-wise. I think you can rent a car at 25. Maybe it's a hotel is at 25 or
go
something.
Off your parents' insurance at 26.
I don't even know if that's true anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't know when you go off your parents' insurance.
It's 26.
There you go. Joey knows.
Joey's on it. So, I mean,
I'm already 26.
So I guess maybe 26 is a full stop. You get to, so McMaster, we can call him kid.
That's
true.
Yeah, the rental car age. Yeah. And then you could move on to like Hot Shot or something like that. I was like calling guys Hot Shot. Usually they don't like it. All right, let's take a break. Any thoughts on that? We'll take them 402-951-1620. We'll be back after this on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. But first, a word from our friends from Underdog Fantasy, where fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back. Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the action because you can make picks and win money right now in Nebraska. Playing on Underdog, oh so easy. We've told you time and time again. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Let me actually play it this way. We always say pick your favorite players. How about pick your least favorite players to go lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. You could take that tack today, right now in Nebraska on Underdog. And if you get those picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Download the app today and use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code HAPPER1620. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present. Nebraska terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpgambling.org. We are moving into bracket time around here, around everywhere, really. Everybody's going to have a bracket for everything. There will be food brackets. There will be lunch brackets from our dear friend Jack Mitchell. I think he's having his selection show as we speak right now. And there will be brackets of all sorts of things. I famously did a numbers bracket one time that never ended up finishing. We were down to the final, and
I remember that.
We never finished it. Although I have a suspicion that 69 would have won.
I think they were the heavy favorites.
So you just put a bunch of random numbers in a field of 64 or 32. How many different numbers are we talking?
I think it was 32. I could pull it up right now. But because I was going through.
Was 67 in the bracket, or was there?
No, this was been before that had taken over.
This was in 2020.
Okay.
Number bracket. Let me see if I can find it on this.
Was this
computer.
even in March or was it in the summer? I remember it.
No,
I remember
it was
this happening.
No, it was around the time that everybody was doing brackets, and I was annoyed by it. So I decided to do the dumbest bracket possible. It was me making fun of brackets. Here it is, numbers bracket. It might take a second to read down the.
Never even thought of it that way.
It was. Let's see here. It was 32.
Who were your one seeds?
The one seeds were 23, 7, 23 and 7. So I just did 16 aside.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 23 and 7. The two seeds were 1 and 10.
Wow.
Those numbers did advance to the next round, but of course we ended up in it was 6. So the final four was 69, 23, 7, and I think 2. Possibly 5. And then it was 69 versus 7 in the final, and it never got voted on.
So how are these numbers determined in this field?
It's just me. I just made it.
Just your spec.
Yeah. I just made it what I thought everybody would vote for. And
okay.
The funniest part about it was I had to seed the numbers. So it was like 1, 23. Yeah. That was the most fun I had with that entire thing, because people got mad at it all the time. So anyway, speaking of brackets, I have a couple brackets that I'd like Mike Schaefer to take a gander at.
Let's do it.
Here is the bracket, the college baseball bracket from 11.7 podcast, a college baseball podcast. They made, if you're watching along, it's on YouTube, they made the projected NCAA tournament regional bracket where they put in all of the regional hosts. Now, I don't know if they actually think that these teams are going to be regional hosts. And then not specific teams that were assigned to the regionals in some cases, but descriptions of teams that would be in some of the regionals. For example, the one that stuck out to me yesterday, because I think it will probably apply to both Creighton and Nebraska, is the Lexington regional. The 6, they have Kentucky as the 6th seed, and the number 2 seed in that region is 40-win Big Ten school, and the number 3 seed in that region is pain in the ass Big East team, which I think fit our descriptors of local teams. And then the 4 in that regional would be a Missouri Valley Conference super regional team, which they win the thing, and it's, like Murray State or whatever. Obviously Murray State went to the College World Series last year. There's a lot of funny descriptors of college baseball teams because
number 4 in the UCLA region is the ugly ass jerseys.
It's good.
Number 2 in the TCU region, which is in the bottom corner over there, school with a patriotic or patriot,
just literally a patriot as their mascot. Yeah, and some of these have been true. I think these are dead on, like balls on accurate, pretty dang solid for things that we have seen before as they set things up for regionals in baseball. The Arkansas regional, which now in recent history both Creighton and Nebraska have fallen victim to. The 2 seed in that regional is offensive juggernaut. The 3 seed is red hot Big 12 team. And the 4 seed is fake conference winner.
I love the committee member school is seated 16th.
Uh-huh.
Cupcake, another cupcake, Ivy League school.
Pretty good. So I appreciated that from 11.7 yesterday as everybody's getting their best out for college baseball season. Joey, keep us right there because I got another bracket that I want to put up here. Now,
we should put the brackets in a bracket and then vote to see who has the best
bracket.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is a great idea. So this might not look like anything to you. This is the exact bracket in how the 2022-23 NCAA tournament went. Exactly how. So you see those. If you're watching along with this on YouTube, you can see that some of them are kind of yellow gold and some of them are red. The yellow gold is all of the correct guesses from this guy by the name of Nick Bateman on Twitter. He goes by CBB Guru, which I actually believe him because he does this bit where every year he sees if he can perfectly remember a random bracket from in between years 2010 to 2025. This is the 21-22 bracket of the NCAA tournament. And as you can see, he got every matchup and every game, like he got every game past the round of 64 correct. Matchups and winners. And then nearly got the entire field of 64 in the right place as well. This is maybe one of the most impressive feats I have ever seen a human undertake. This is one of the cool, like, to have a brain like this is absolutely absurd to me. And I cannot understand it whatsoever. This guy, like, I want to meet this guy. He might be the most impressive person.
I want to shake his hand.
I want to shake your hand.
In the red, is that his guess that's inaccurate, or is it
I think
he
that's
was wrong and then that's the correct one?
Correct.
Okay.
That part, yes.
Yeah, this is truly incredible.
So he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like, teams in the wrong spot. I assume he got all the right teams and just kind of put them in the wrong spot, which is unbelievable. And one of the teams he got wrong was Illinois, who played Chattanooga in their first game that year. He didn't have Illinois in that spot. Illinois actually ended up winning the game. And that was the only thing out of the round of 32 that he missed that year. Of course, the national champion ended up being Kansas. I've seen John Rothstein do a thing like this before,
where it's more the path of how a singular team got there.
Equally as impressive.
Right. Yeah.
Equally as impressive. I don't know how people remember stuff like this. I can't remember what day today is.
So it was fun for me in particular looking at that bracket because I was in Vegas when this tournament was playing. And I can remember very specifically like where I watched St. Peter's beat Kentucky.
I was also
remembering the group of guys that I was with when we were rooting for San Diego State in that particular year.
Hey,
they played Creighton.
Yeah, well, guess what? You didn't get your wish.
I know. I remember landing. We had flown back, and I remember we flew into Lincoln, and Shelby picks me up, get in the car, and I think Nick Baugh was on the call.
He would have still been doing it.
Creighton was playing Kansas.
Yes.
And Creighton's giving them this game, and Shelby and I were actually going right from the airport in Lincoln to the Nebraska baseball game that day because I had season tickets, and we were going to the Sunday game because we had flown in. And I remember getting out of the car being like, man, if Creighton knocks off Kansas, like one part of me will be happy that Kansas is out.
You weren't rooting for the baby Jays?
Would have been like, man, I don't need Creighton winning and getting into the Sweet 16.
Oh.
That was your ultimate meteor.
It's really tough. I mean, there's not a lot of college basketball matchups where I would struggle to pick a winner from it.
That was your all-time big meteor game?
I like in terms of college basketball, that's probably up there as high as it.
Now the problem is with your Sweet 16, they had already been to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no, I mean
it wasn't like breaking a seal.
No,
or anything.
It had nothing to do with them breaking a seal there. It was just like I didn't need Creighton making any kind of run.
I was amazed that day.
Because San Diego State, like that was a tight game, like a really tight game. Yeah, because we watched the end. That was at the same time that St. Peter's knocked out Kentucky.
So Nemhard had already been hurt earlier in the year, and Kalkbrenner got hurt in the San Diego State game, and so they were down to, they were down to nothing. It was
Did somebody hit a winning shot? In
it
that?
was
Or like
Trey,
a last.
freshman new point guard Trey Alexander. You had Alex O'Connell and Ryan Hawkins, and then Kaluma. And shout out to Keyshawn Fizel as well.
It wasn't like a
and
buzzer
some
beater,
defense by Roddy.
but was there like a last second shot in the end of San Diego State Creighton where they took the lead?
Yes. Gosh, I wish
And
I.
then there was
it
free
went
throws.
to overtime. It went to
Okay.
overtime.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
it
what
went
it
to
was.
overtime.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
But the Baby Jays were a truly
was
great. It was one of those truly awesome seasons where like you didn't really expect anything, and then they just like wildly outperform expectations at every turn.
And they kept it close against Kansas in that round of 32 game.
They nearly beat them.
I was at Mandalay Bay as all of this was going down. Wow. I'm like 90% sure because that's over by. Oh, that's not really by.
Mandalay Bay is way south.
Yeah,
It's south of the
at
airport.
Excalibur or something.
Yeah, that's right over there.
Yep. And then we were on. We part of the games was spent playing blackjack at Excalibur, where they wheeled out like when I was in high school and middle school. The TVs always sat on the carts in the closet, and the teacher would have to go get the TV.
Now that's a feeling.
It would
folks.
work like 2 out of the 4 times. Like so, 50% of the time the TV would work, and then
You'd be like smacking the TV on the side.
And so at the Excalibur, where they had very cheap blackjack, which is the whole reason we were there, they had like the TV.
There would be
set
no
up
other
that you'd
reason
be
to
able
be
to
at
watch
Excalibur.
the games because at that point they didn't have TVs hung up or displayed nicely or whatever. And so we watched a big portion of it there, and then we're on our way over to the Mandalay Bay.
And you were just booing everything.
We were rooting very hard for St. Peter's. Nobody likes.
Oh, at
Kentucky.
St. Peter's. I thought you were talking about the Creighton, Kansas game.
Well, and then like, but the part of the magic of being in a place in Vegas when the tournament is going on is you have all of the different things happening, and all these different people are betting on different things.
Vastly different things.
And
it's
so
amazing.
you have all this energy, but when you have a 15 beating a 2, the collective rush of everyone is like, we want to see this happen. And so that takes over everything that's going on. So we weren't as locked in as whatever was happening with San Diego State and Creighton, because St. Peter's was beating John Calipari and Kentucky.
Yes, they were.
And they won that game. And then they won several more games.
Shout out to Shaheen Holloway, who didn't call a timeout against Creighton last weekend. All right. We will be back. Joey has the headlines when we return on 1620 The Zone. By the way, I got a tweet earlier. We talked about how Schaefer smelled a skunk. Joey smelled a skunk. I didn't. For the record, I'm not a skunk denier. I just wanted to say that I didn't smell it. Blue Jay Norbit fan writes in, which Blue Jay Norbit fan does a great bit, and it's they just talk about how much they love Norbit, the movie, which I don't know why, but it's great. Saw a skunk lurking at 52nd and Farnham this morning. The whole area stunk. From 52nd and Leavenworth to Dundee double shot, it was nothing but skunk, which is funny because we are directly in the crosshairs of that area. And I smell nothing.
There's been multiple times this week, multiple times since I've started this job.
Do I have COVID?
Yeah, I'm a little worried that you couldn't smell the skunk smell.
I'm a little worried about you, Connor.
Why? What could happen? What could be? Is this a sign of something?
Well, do you smell other things?
I don't smell anything right now. No.
But do you have? When's the last time you smelled something?
What would you like me to smell? Hand me something.
I mean, this room doesn't have a stink to it.
I ate a banana. I smelled it.
You think you smelled it?
I do. I don't know for sure.
I think you need to smell something that you can't see in order to determine, because otherwise your brain will create the smell for you.
All right. Well, go ahead and blind smell test me.
We'll get McFarter in here.
No,
later.
not that. Make it something that is good. Smell like make it be like a cherry or something.
I don't know. Maybe they'll make popcorn on Friday again, and
they
can smell
will,
the
but
popcorn.
that will not happen until like 11:30.
Yeah.
So we could probably negotiate for an earlier popcorn time.
Well, especially if we explain the circumstances.
We get the special treatment.
I'll smell that. I'll smell that. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. All right, Joey, we got headlines. What do we got?
Yes, we do. And I'm going to break my long streak of animal stories, but school mystery solved after cat burglar caught on camera.
Cat burglar? Who burglars a cat?
Well, I think
no, a cat. The cat is
the cat criminal. Is the burglar.
Wow.
Very confusing.
Let's see the second story.
Florida man who owed back child support accused of aiming gun at driver during road rage incident.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward.
You got to go with cat burglar.
I think we're going with a cat.
Yeah.
All right. Towels, goggles, togs, undies. They all went missing and no one was the wiser until now. So
where is this article from? I'm already mad at it. What is your source, Joey? Is it The Guardian?
No, it's not. I have to find it because I closed out the window just in case the computer had some little glitch issues.
Smart.
But this was straight out in New Zealand, from what I remember.
Okay.
It's from Apanui School in Whakatane
New Zealand.
Yeah, in New Zealand, has identified a thief who has been prowling its grounds, releasing damning footage this week showing him in the act. Principal Stewart said he had been offending for over a year now. The video, so there's a video, and the video shows the enterprising thief dressed in black, pilfer a black towel, and dragged it across the school playground. The cat burglar had finally been found.
So they had looked for probably a long time for a person, likely a human, and ended up not finding anyone. Probably makes sense because the stealer of the items was a kitty cat, a tiny little kitty cat. Joey, you have a cat, yes?
Yeah, I do, but not living with me.
Is it known to steal any items?
Not really. It's known to complain for food and like to eat butter and whatnot.
Eat butter?
Yeah, she has a fine tasting for butter.
Do you think she can smell it?
Possible. Would you like to know this cat's nickname that has been given to it?
I have. Yes, I would like to know.
You've seen it already?
I just saw it, yeah.
Yeah. Slinky Malinky?
Slinky Malinky.
Yep.
Now that is a great cat nickname. I would never have a cat, but if I did have a cat, I would accept that name as its name.
It's apparently named after a already fictional feline.
Slinky Malinky.
Never heard of Slinky.
Maybe that's
Malinky.
like a New Zealand cartoon show, something like that. You know, I don't know. Togs. I didn't know that they called swimming trunks togs.
Oh wow,
that's what swimming trunks are in New Zealand.
I guess that's what it is.
Togs. I love when people call things different things.
New Zealand, number one on the list of countries I want to visit.
Good one.
It would be incredible. Place. The flight over there would be long. but that country looks absolutely gorgeous. And famously, I've really only gone to island-based countries.
By the way, Connor, if you're looking for the article, it's on Stuff.
Yeah, that's where I found it.
Stuff. I don't appreciate their writing. I'm mad at them for starting it off with a pun like that. All right. Thank you, Joey.
Yep.
Those are the headlines. When we come back, the 8 o'clock hour is coming up. We will get into some basketball, of course, from or coming up this weekend. But I also have to ask Mike Schaefer a question about the spring game, which is soon.
It is soon.
Coming up on 1620 The Zone. Okay, let's see what we have here in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. This is this come. You know what? This person chooses to remain anonymous. It is a small screenshot from a story that I don't know where it came from, but the subject line of the email is Schaefer. So got me to click right away. Nice job, listener of the show.
What a headline.
So here is the excerpt from the article, which I have no idea what this is about, and I have no idea where it's from. But I believe a congratulations is in order. 87-year-old slumlord and spousal abuse convict Mike Schaefer announced his candidacy to represent California's 48th congressional district this week.
Wow.
So congrats.
Thank you, guys. I plan to fix up the 48.
Is that what they call it out there? The 48.
The 48.
Mike Schaefer. So if I go to news, Mike Schaefer, it doesn't immediately lead me to that person, which is nice. That's good. Okay. Well, congrats, Schaefer.
Thank you. I would love to know more about the
I would too. I don't know.
slums in which I lord over.
Maybe I will receive a follow-up email with a link attached.
We should certainly follow this candidacy. It seems like there's a great chance to win.
So the spring game is officially back. Remember last year when we were all celebrating the fact that the spring game was dead?
I liked it.
I did too.
And then they brought in the Husker games, and I knew that it was going to be so bad that we would be back in this.
Okay. Good old carnivals.
So I knew it was going to be bad too. And it, like, I don't know that it was bad. I don't know what they expected, but
Connor is bad. You can call it bad.
Like, bad from the sense of nobody wanted to go. Like, it's not an attraction, but like, was it bad for what it wanted to be? I don't know. Maybe
yes.
Did they think? Did you catch any punts last year? Well, maybe that's why you think it's bad.
I think the fact that the media members were catching punts only plays into it being
the
bad.
fact that. What about the garage sale? You didn't like the garage?
The garage sale was the best part of the whole thing. The garage sale should stay. Full stop.
Oh,
hell, even the two highlights of the entire day happened before everything else, and it was the garage sale and the flag football game, in which watching Midland just destroy a team of intramural all-stars put together that really had no chance to play, and then Dylan running on the field and playing and throwing an interception, almost getting hurt.
I forgot about that.
Hilarious.
Was he wearing giant sunglasses?
He was not.
Oh, what? That's surprising.
That was hilarious. Everything that followed was just sort of insulting to anyone that had spent any time being in the facility.
No, but like, I thought we were going to go down the path where if you're going to do a flag football game, spring game, and do a quote unquote carnival, whatever it is, eventually, if you do that enough years in a row, people would just stop covering it. People would stop going to it, and then it would just be dead altogether, which I thought was a really good path to be on.
But they never went down that path.
I know, but like, if you would have given it,
they wanted to go down that path, and they realized that they miscalculated how people were going to react to it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we'll throw you a bone and have all of the 5th and 6th and 7th stringers play a game. And that was terrible.
If you would have done it for like 5 more years that way, just nobody would have been there, and then they would have just stopped.
If you never would have done anything, it would have been fine.
I also agree with that.
You could have just had the garage sale and the 7-on-7, and they could have played in front of their friends and family, and it would have been fine too.
And so that all leads into.
But they threw in the little fake football game. They threw in a fake spring game, which is also insulting.
It's the most
the spring
insulting
game, which is already a fake game, doesn't need a faker version of it.
It's arguably the most insulting thing out of all. Because like you said, nobody should care about the spring game, and yet here we are. And then they did a fake version of the fake spring game, and I can't imagine why anyone would ever want to go to any sort of thing. So again,
when you're like, I don't know if it was bad. No, it was bad.
Okay. All right. Maybe it served its purpose. But I don't know what. Anyway, we can get past that part. Here we are, 2026, and Wednesday, Nebraska announced that the spring game would indeed continue or resume. So in the annals of Nebraska spring game history, we have the 2012 fake tornado.
It's the best spring game of all
Oh
time.
yeah, I remember
Agreed.
that.
Agreed. We have the 2020 Coco, and we have 2025, whatever the hell that was.
I would rank them in that order: 1, 2, 3.
I did love that 2012 day. That was a great day.
Wonderful day.
I saw Jim Cantori on Salt Creek Boulevard or whatever the hell it is over there by the just north of the stadium, and they like interviewed me for the Weather Channel, and I was like, this is awesome. And there's a picture of me on the median on the Salt Creek roadway holding the Weather Channel microphone.
I gotta say
I
this.
received a text from Severe who is admonishing me in a way by saying, I guess the worst part of the game was giving players a chance to play in front of a crowd for the only time in their career.
Yeah, Schaefer, what's
It was
wrong with
horrible.
You sick person.
They could do this in a practice and nobody would be there and it wouldn't matter.
That would be preferable, of course, to all of this. So I get the sense that we're on the same page here. Nebraska's spring game, presented by FNBL, is back. Saturday, March 28th, kickoff is at 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, there has been a lot made of the timing of this. I couldn't tell you why the hell they're doing spring practice so early. I don't know what the point of that is. Not that I'm out on it or against it or anything like that. I just don't know why. It's like 6 weeks earlier than it normally is. So that's one thing. And then, of course, the conversation surrounding it is it just so happens to fall on a day in where Nebraska basketball could be playing for a chance to go to the Final Four, which
Say that sentence again.
which would happen during the nighttime or the afternoon/nighttime.
Right.
So we'll be safe. But I would like to admonish any conversation whatsoever about if you could choose one of these things, what would you do? What would you go to? I have never hated a conversation more. Almost never.
Well, if Nebraska's in the Midwest regional and they play the 27th, 29th.
But
Never
like
mind.
The perspective that I saw yesterday, like the choices that I was given, if you could choose one, which would you go to? And I was like, what do you mean? One is a game and one is not. That's the one.
If you could be at this historic Nebraska basketball game,
Yeah,
or this event that only has any real meaning inside this state around a program in which you might get to see players you'll never see play in an actual game, which would you choose?
I think I'd choose the game, the historic event.
Yeah, I'll take that one as well.
That would be me. Also that afternoon.
Has Matt Rule explained why he's reverted back to playing the spring game after not wanting to do it?
I would love a real deep dive.
I know
this puts on the idea that I care. Don't put it on the internet that I care. But I would be interested in a deep dive of like how it got canceled in the first place, and then the conversation about making it the Husker games or whatever the hell they did last year. And then now bringing back the spring game.
I have a pretty obvious as to why I think I know why it went how it did last year and why it's going how it is this year. There's no spring portal. So last year there was concern that should they play this game, teams, basically Pete Golding was going to go through and start sending a bunch of texts asking guys what they needed money.
You up.
So they were worried about Pete Golding and Pete Golding types. Trying to snag players out of the spring by just throwing a bunch of money at them. Famously, Nebraska did not have a lot in its coffers last spring, which is how they didn't really end up getting a running back or what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
So they did not want to be in any kind of bidding war.
To be fair, they had a lot in their coffers this year and still didn't get a running back. So
yeah,
we'll throw that into the conversation.
I mean, well,
different deal. But
I don't even know that it is.
I was excited.
Again, it comes back to this just a sheer hubris of they're the smartest people in the room when it comes to picking running backs, apparently. And we've just never seen that manifest itself in players they've recruited.
Well, Emmett Johnson.
But, this is the year. This is the year.
They Emmett Johnson waited this time.
They didn't recruit Emmett Johnson.
They didn't recruit Emmett Johnson.
They barely
but
played Emmett Johnson until they
made-
had to play Emmett
That's
Johnson.
right, and that made him better. Emmett Johnson not playing for all that time made him better.
Just go take credit for him. He's an All-American. You win 7 games. I mean,
So
how much do you really want to hold that pelt up in the air?
I was excited about the conversation of just deleting the spring game in its entirety last year. And I remember around this time last year, we were eulogizing the spring game. It was like, it's gone and it's
glorious
never
moment.
coming back. And there was all these conversations about how college football is moving in a different direction and it just isn't as big anymore. And it's hard to get played, whatever, blah, 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 blah. There was 100 different reasons why they wouldn't want to do the spring game and why spring games all across the country were going away. And now here we are. It wasn't just that reason that you explained, Schaefer, with the spring portal window, which I do think it was obviously a big part of this in bringing it back. But I also thought it was all the other things. And so just then to go back on it it's very odd to me. Like the whole thing is just kind of scatterbrained and like, I don't know. I'm not saying you have to stick with a decision.
I would fully
no matter what every single time, but it's just weird. And now that it was gone and all those things were said about it, like it's obviously never going to be what it used to be.
Right.
What are they going to get for this? Like 25,000 people?
You get I don't know what the amount of people show up. I would anticipate that guys like Calandria aren't going to play in this game. So it's going to be similar to what it was last year, where I think you have lower end on your depth chart sort of playing in this event. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe you're going to have Calandria throwing to Ja'Cory Barney and everything else. But
if that's the case, that makes this text even more funny. So Alex Lincoln says this. I shouldn't say funny. Alex Lincoln says the spring game price adjustments are a slap in the face of the fans. Oh, yes, that was another thing that came along with the announcement on Wednesday. Tickets are on sale next Thursday at 9:00. The East Balcony Club donor presale is at noon. Or that's at 9:00 as well. And then it goes on sale to the public at noon. So prices until March 22nd, $5 for everybody, $10 to sit in the club. The week of the game, starting the Monday of the week of the game, it doubles. And the day of the game, it quadruples from what it originally was. So it goes from 5 to 10 to 20 if you would like to walk up on Saturday afternoon just to see no one of note.
It'd be Saturday morning, right? Starting at 11?
Saturday morning, yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
I mean, it's a revenue thing. That's what it is.
yeah, but who's gonna go?
I don't know. And it's March 28th, which could be snowing.
Could be
What
snowing.
if it's a snow spring game? Would that make you more interested?
No.
The field is just covered in snow.
Could be snowing. Could be. I mean, if it's snowing, if it's covered in snow, they wouldn't play it. Then everybody get their money back.
I never considered this on my list of like why moving to Omaha could be a good thing. I absolutely will not be at the spring game. Won't have to think about the spring game.
That's right.
You and I might have a segment that discusses the spring game leading up to it the Friday before.
Maybe.
We might discuss it the Monday coming out of it. Chances are we're talking about Nebraska being in their first Final Four in program history.
Definitely. That's definitely going to happen, as I always say.
And we would be discussing, wow, I'm really glad we didn't choose going to the spring game over going to that Elite Eight game where Nebraska beat Vanderbilt to punch its ticket to the Final
I
Four.
thought you were a Vanderbilt hater. Now you have them in the Elite Eight.
I just picked a team.
Here's Swift. Look at this. He says, my poor buddy had his wedding scheduled on March 28th. And I'm like, okay, come on. You just keep doing your wedding on March 28th. And then I kept reading this text. My poor buddy had his wedding scheduled on March 28th, and the reception was at the Champions Club.
When you said that,
boy.
that's where my brain went right away.
Guess whose reception is no longer at the Champions Club? I'd say, Swift, your buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Poor guy.
That's tough.
That's sad.
That is really. Maybe they give him a discount on a future date or something like that.
Hey, if you want to bring you and your groomsmen to the spring game, you can get changed on the field for photos.
I like how we can We should just we can only say spring game in that tone from now on. Spring game.
The spring
You
game.
can bring your buddies to the spring game. Doc writes in on the text line. I remember when the head coach said they had to get rid of the spring game, so that other teams wouldn't poach their players. Now they're right back to the spring game. Another example of the head coach talking out of both sides of his mouth. It's a little confusing. I don't really understand why they're doing it.
Yeah, I'll be fascinated who plays in Nebraska's spring game on March 28th.
Yep, there it is. It is back, and it's presented by FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation, member FDIC.
They were ready to sponsor this thing.
They jumped right on it.
They're like,
FNBO is
spring
everywhere.
game.
Spring game.
We're
That's
in.
for me. All right, we'll be back. A couple more things to cover. Remember, we'll be joined by Jake Sorensen in the 9 o'clock hour. We will chide him about a variety of different things that he's experienced.
He's definitely being chided.
In this week. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, yesterday we stumbled upon a topic. This is for you, Nebraska ball honks, or I suppose it could be for non-Nebraska ball honks as well. As the season draws to a close, as the regular season draws to a close, and we turn our attention ahead to the postseason, whether it be the Big Ten tournament or the NCAA tournament, I would like to know, 402-951-1620, what are your priorities? What are your Nebraska ball priorities? As far as results are concerned, what do you want to see more over, we'll give you a bunch of examples of this. I also understand that we have some listeners who probably would like to see them never win a game again. So there is that too. If those are your priorities, that is also okay.
Those are terrible, miserable people.
Priorities are priorities.
I'm
Everybody
just letting you know.
prioritizes something
They
different.
should feel miserable.
Everybody prioritizes something different. You are what you prioritize.
You are what you prioritize.
Well, I will say that
I'm
there
a
are
Big
some
Ten
people,
tournament title.
without naming them, there are some people who are no longer prioritizing their team. They are prioritizing taking great pride in their rivals' team losing.
Sure. Yeah, that's I mean,
Tale as old as time.
that's just a thing that happens.
That's just a thing that happens. It is most certainly happening.
When JJ McCarthy is your quarterback, you just find value in other ways when watching football.
Oh my God, this is great. The Bears and the Packers suck. That was you.
But then they play each other in a playoff game, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
But doesn't matter because they lost the next weekend.
I
right?
know.
One
And
team.
the
One
Lions
team.
didn't even make the playoffs.
I ended up, I was okay if the Packers won because they were going to be sacrificed at the altar of the Seahawks.
Right.
And I knew what that was going to look like, and I really wanted it. I
Mm.
really did. I'm not going to lie.
I only cared for beating the Bears. I knew what was.
Yeah,
gonna
no, I
happen.
get it. When you're in that position, you just want to advance to the next round. That's all that really matters.
All right. So what do you want? Is it win total base? Because the reason why we're talking about this is because Schaefer mentioned yesterday, I think it would be like a randomly fun and cool thing. And I prioritize this pretty high if Nebraska ball were to find their way to 30 wins
Yeah.
this season. So there's that. There's Big Ten tournament, there is Big Ten regular season. Then, of course, there's the, winning at least one game in the NCAA tournament or beyond. And then I think there's some like awards-based stuff that people are interested in too. All conference, All-American, Coach of the Year, things like that as well. Where's your head go first?
Yeah, so it's interesting because there's things that can be accomplished and strike off multiple,
Of course.
If you're winning the Big Ten regular season title, you're probably winning 29 games or 28 games is where they're maxing out at if you're doing that. So that gives you a really good chance of winning 30 games in the totality. Doesn't mean that you will. Of course, you could lose your next two games and be 28-5.
Right.
And that sounds horrible.
That
and
sounds
I wish
horrible
I hadn't said
indeed.
that out loud.
Yep.
We've talked about this before. I don't think they can win the Big Ten title, so that one slides down. So I'm not as focused on that. Here are the things that I would really love to see, none of which matter with the NCAA tournament, because I think like everyone's number one priority is that you end this horrific, historic thing that you haven't done.
I do want to have a discussion about that because I think, like you said, everybody would agree that like
not
you have to get it-
everyone, the people that want
Right.
Nebraska to have success.
Yeah, the big meteor people would say, actually, I disagree with this. But like Nebraska ball fans would all say, yeah, we got to at least win one game. And then I think there is differentiating priorities after that.
So that's why I'm setting that
Yeah.
one off to
Let's
the
put it
side.
off to the side.
So I would go back to one of the things we talked about, maybe it was a couple weeks ago. I have an infatuation with the idea of Nebraska winning the Big Ten tournament. I like the idea of being
I love that
tournament
I
champions.
love that you do.
It's part of it is that like I really loved at the end of the what the tournament represents when you root for a team like Nebraska basketball, which is almost never good enough that they're going to win the conference anyways, is that you could have this magical run. And growing up, I would watch teams, whether it was they could run through the Big East or, there was a Georgia team that did it through the SEC where they played they won 4 games in 4 days. And maybe at the same time, the tornado had hit the Georgia Dome or something. It was some weird context with all of it. But I love the idea of your season, just because you didn't have a great regular season, doesn't mean that you can't strike magic in the tournament. So I've always been fixated on this because that had been for a while sort of the pathway of how Nebraska could get in, because if they couldn't get in on their own merits, maybe they can just somehow
Get hot.
Convince the world that they can win 4 games in a row, and that means they get to be in the NCAA tournament.
Unfortunately for you, they are good on their own merits.
Yes.
They will make the tournament on their own merits.
I still would love to see it happen. I would love to see them be the team that right before you go to Selection Sunday, they're playing Wisconsin for the Big Ten title, like it would have been a couple years ago when they lost to Illinois.
That would be quite the scene, that's for sure. I do think of those teams every year that are, they do the live locker room shot of them sitting with the net around their neck and the trophy in their hand, and they're like, well, we already know enter team here is going to be a 1 seed, but let's flash it up on the board anyway. And they all celebrate and clap, and there's a big sign in there that says Big Ten champions. That would be the imagery of that would be fantastic.
I don't know. Maybe they don't do this when you win the Big Ten title, but like, do they cut down the net? Will there be scenes of like, would like Bear K be just wearing the net around his neck?
Absolutely. You got to cut down every net you can.
So, I mean, like, I want that. I want this imagery. I want like this team to have as much possible success that they can in whether it's the regular season or the Big Ten postseason, and then ultimately the real postseason. And it starts with winning the Big Ten tournament. Obviously, it would start with winning the Big Ten title. I don't know that can happen.
So, yeah, if you're throwing that part out, which I do think that is, at this stage of the game, obviously the odds are further, but that is the one where you come back in 15 years, and obviously some of it will be determined on how far they go in the NCAA tournament, and it's going to be a special team forever in Nebraska history, no matter what. I mean, we've already passed that point of no return, but if they could say they won the Big Ten, that's got to be priority number one. So you stick that as long as you possibly can.
And I just don't know that they can.
Yeah.
Like, even if they win out, I'd still wonder if Michigan wouldn't only lose 1 game.
Yeah.
And, maybe they lose to Duke, but maybe they only also lose to Purdue and then win all the rest of them.
What about getting there's also sort of, we talk about monkeys being on their back as far as winning an NCAA tournament game. There's also a monkey on their back in terms of like not only obviously winning the conference tournament, but getting to the semifinal, getting to the final.
They made the semifinal when they lost to Illinois because they crushed Indiana the night before.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've made the semifinal. Now they would be getting to the final of the Big Ten tournament.
Right. Getting to the final.
And so then you're one of the last 2 teams playing before Selection Sunday. Whatever. But getting to the final would be great. So I was going to put it to you like this. This is how much a Big Ten title would mean to me. I would choose that over if they just won out, they were 28-3, and then they win 2 games, lose the tournament championship to, say, Michigan, but they still get to be a 1 seed.
Whoa.
I would take being the Big Ten tournament champions and being a 2 over being a 1 seed and losing the title game.
You know what? I don't know that I disagree with you. I mean, it might sound crazy because the conference tournaments are so...
They don't mean anything.
They don't mean anything. But
I get that.
There's hardware attached to it.
But they won something. Because if nothing else, you come out of the year, you don't win the conference.
And what's the difference between a 1 and a 2?
I don't think it exists.
Yeah.
I really don't. So that's part of it.
You're a 1 or a 2.
The expectations are still going to be really high for you either way.
Like the odds are obviously, because there's only been 2 1/16s ever. Right. So the odds of you losing.
St. Peter's could be lurking around that corner.
And that we've had a handful of 15-2s over the years.
Or Florida Gulf Coast, St. Peter's. I think Hampton took out Iowa State back in the day with Marcus
George
Pfizer.
Mason, Missouri.
Northern Arizona took out Cincinnati with Kenyon Martin. I remember that as a kid.
So there's been a bunch of those. And so your odds decrease of like getting through that first game and ultimately doing the one priority that everybody wants. But I don't. Yeah, I mean, assuming they win that first game no matter what,
right.
If they're a 1 or a 2, then yeah, I don't think I disagree with you. Weirdly, I don't know. That sounds odd because it's a Big Ten tournament and it's nonsense. But I like that there's hardware attached to it. I think they want to have something to show for this season, even if they don't. And they have a lot to show for this season. But you know what I mean. Like even if they don't get to the Final Four or something like that. Obviously, like I said, this team is going to be remembered forever around here, almost no matter what. But to be able to put the tag on Big Ten champions, and that's a lot.
it exercises very likely some demons in there where it's, absent of whatever you do in the NCAA tournament. If they get that third shot rubber match with Illinois and they win that game, it means something to me as a fan. If they beat Michigan and they're at full strength instead of not having Rink Mast and Frager, it would mean something to me. If they played Purdue and I watched Braden Smith pretend to be injured and they beat him, it would mean something to me.
Nice.
Like, so there's that aspect of it too, where it's like, okay, you get some shot to rectify some things that happened in this stretch. And, if you go on this run now, maybe their pathway to winning the Big Ten title would be Penn State wins some games and they play them in the first day. And then the second day they get Iowa, and the third day they beat Wisconsin, and it doesn't have the same feel.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't think you
I wouldn't be over here like, well, it's a fake Big Ten tournament title.
I don't think you'd care. I mean, like, because I was trying to put myself, as you were talking there, I was trying to put myself in like the Creighton shoes. So Creighton's big thing, one of their big things right now is that they seemingly always get to the Big East final and never have won it. They're 0-5 in Big East finals. And like, I'm trying to think, would I give up a seed line in a trade to win that one game that really doesn't matter? Because assuming they're in the NCAA tournament anyway. Yeah, I do want that. Like in between a 3 and a 4 or something like that. Yeah.
Happer and Schaefer, the show in America that cares the most about the tournament championship.
No, I want to make it clear. I still don't really care, but I just think the situation is right for Nebraska. I want to check the box, and I want the hardware. I like the trophy, and I like the net.
And then obviously you win 3 games in the tournament setting, your chances of winning the 30 games is very high.
Obviously.
And so that's another thing on this where I would love for that to be a part of it.
I got a couple more that I want to throw in there before I get to your guys' thoughts. And once again, 402-951-1620.
And again, this is acknowledging the very critical thing is winning that first game in the NCAA.
Correct. Everybody agrees, except for the people who want the big meteor. Yeah. Tweeted us at Happer and Schaefer, by the way. Is there any awards based? I mean, we were just talking about hardware a little bit. Like, same sort of scenario. You're trading something, or you're thinking about this up against this. Like, how important is it that Fred Hoiberg is the national coach of the year?
I think it'd be cool. I don't think it really matters to me. I think if I was picking a Hoiberg where there'd be something cool attached to it, I would love to see, and I think it could happen, the coaches vote Sam Hoiberg as first team All Big Ten.
Well, I mean,
and I don't expect the media to, but I think the coaches, with the way they start every press conference complimenting him and talking about what he means to this team, like, that is a guy that it feels like, I don't know if jealousy would be the right word, but it feels like you hear other coaches in the Big Ten talk about Nebraska. They love what the idea of Sam Hoiberg is.
Yeah, oh, no doubt.
Because the way he plays, the way he can change your dynamic, how he steps up in big moments, all of that stuff. And, like, if I had to pick between Fred being National Coach of the Year, which I think he's going to win anyways, or Sam Hoiberg being a first team, like, how about
Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten?
I don't think he's going to win it. He didn't even get listed in the top defenders in the country, and there's 4 Big Ten players that are in that list.
Given what you just said about how the coaches, they all know how important he is, especially to what they do.
Do the coaches vote for that, or is it media based for the Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't know what kind of.
I don't think the Big Ten media
they pull
is going to I don't think Nebraska will have a single player on the All Big Ten team. They might have a few guys on second and third, but I don't think the media will vote for it in that way. I think the coaches will.
Probably not going to be any All-American candidates.
And they're not that kind of team, and I'm okay with that.
No, that's fine.
That's where it's like, if
thinking about postseason awards.
If the coaches put Sam Hoiberg on their first team All Big Ten, I think that's a pretty awesome representation as to what he's meant for this entire thing.
Yeah, I agree. And so then you get to the tournament stuff. And
there's a lot.
Obviously,
I want it all.
Obviously, winning one NCAA tournament game has to be at the top of the list. Everyone will say that until it's almost like it's not a free space, because you have to still do it and play well and win against a good team. But like, how much further beyond that is within grasp? There's a clear line of delineation, obviously, after the first weekend.
Yep.
And then, the way I view it as like the amalgamation of everybody's opinion, like the combo of like if I've just sort of soaked this in for the last couple weeks, I feel like correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like obviously there's the winning one game, and then there's an expectation that Nebraska makes it to the second weekend, and anything that happens beyond that is gravy.
I think that's almost verbatim what it seems like in the conversations I've been in, or just listening to people discuss it, or whatever else. It's like, hey, I don't know if this team can get to the Final Four, and I don't know, certainly don't know if this team could win a national championship. But if they win that first game, I don't want this to just stop in the round of 32. I want to be able to think about Nebraska basketball playing as one of the final 16 teams in the country.
Yep.
And then from there, do you get the right matchup? You could be in the Elite Eight. You get the right matchup. You could be in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I mean, so the goalposts, if they've moved at all from the, hey, I just want one win, is, for this thing to really stand up, for this to be just more than like, okay, you check the box if you finally won a tournament game, playing in that second weekend, being in a regional somewhere, having the week of people telling the story of Nebraska basketball and all the various players and components of it would certainly be a part of it.
So I'm gonna when the Nebraska women went undefeated that year, they went to the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, and they lost to Kentucky.
They were a 1 seed, right?
Yeah, they were a 1. They played 4 Kentucky, I think.
So they lost, but everybody still thinks about that team. They went 32-2 the entire year. They went undefeated in the league. They went undefeated all the way into the conference tournament, and
they lose to A&M.
They lost to Kentucky.
Well, no, I mean in the conference tournament.
In the conference tournament, they lost to A&M. Yes,
yeah. That's in the semifinal. Look at that! I can call both of those up.
Nice job by you.
I went to several of those games. They were very fun.
People still look at that team and they're like, and they say the undefeated part. I'm just trying to think, because we've had 15 plus years now since then. Like, the undefeated team, that is sort of their main nomer, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I call them. And then after that, it'd probably be they went to the Sweet 16 team, right? They were the Sweet 16 team. Even though it's mildly disappointing that they only went to the Sweet 16, it's still a really great accomplishment for anybody to say we went to the Sweet 16. And I think similar things apply here. Like, if Nebraska's a 2 seed, they're expected to go beyond the Sweet 16, but you will always look back at it and say, that was the Sweet 16 team. Yep. That was the year they went to the Sweet 16. I always say that with all the Creighton teams, and and then there's the one Elite 8 team. That was the Elite 8 team. And so, like it or not, you are defined by your tournament success. That's just it.
The foul that was a foul, but was probably a foul.
It was a foul. Yeah. It's like the spring game. It's like that. Yes, I do think about that often.
Yeah.
That was the Elite 8 team.
Well, you ultimately, how you will remember this team is going to be defined on what level of success stood the most out to you. And so if they win the Big Ten tournament and then drop the round of 32 game, you're probably going to be like, well, they're the team that made history and they won the Big Ten tournament.
Yep.
If they get to the Elite 8, they'll be the Elite 8 team because the rest of that is Trump.
If they fall short in everything postseason, this is just a thing that's on the table.
Sure, yeah.
Like, if they don't get to the Big Ten final and if they lose in the second round, it will be the team that won an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah.
And if they don't do that, it'll still be the 27 win team. It'll still be the 26 win team.
But it'll just be like, they're like 91 where they lost to Xavier. Great regular season, great season overall, but they didn't.
What do we call that team? We call I call them
the 91 team.
I call them the 3 seed team.
Yeah,
the team that was a 3 seed,
basically,
or
the team that lost to Xavier. You don't even refer to them as their name.
The team that lost to Xavier. Yeah,
the team that lost to whoever. Yeah. That's the team that lost to Merrimack.
The team that lost.
You don't want to be the team that lost to Merrimack. You don't want to be the team that lost to New Jersey.
God forbid.
Tech.
14 seeds, by the way. Cal Baptist, Troy, North Dakota State, East Tennessee State. Take your pick.
North Dakota State is not a team that you'd take lightly.
No, you would not want to play them.
I mean, I think Nebraska would beat them, but
I do too. But it's just there's too much local flavor.
Sure, yeah, I would much rather it be some random school
a nameless
from the East,
MEAC school, yes.
or a school from the SWAC.
That would be Merrimack is projected as the MEAC.
Yeah.
Or no, that's a Metro Atlantic. That's the MAAC.
I didn't know that
State
Merrimack existed until I saw Lenardi match them up on the bracket.
Good job. So 16's NJIT, my dear friend Lenny, back in the NCAA tournament. Morgan State, Bethune-Cookman, Long Island, Merrimack, UT Martin.
Bethune-Cookman feels like a team I'd like to see Nebraska play again.
That's almost certainly a play-in game team. Sadly,
they'd have to be the just went out. Starts on Saturday against Northwestern.
And then people would start making the jokes yet again, as they do every year. Merrimack has won an NCAA tournament game before Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yep. They would beat another.
I don't want it.
All right, your text. We just, you know what? Let's do it on the other side. We got a few minutes, and I want to get your responses on this. 402-951-1620. You still got time to do so. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. I was just informed via email that today is Friday the 13th.
My favorite part
Spooky.
of that wasn't just that we learned that it was Friday the 13th. It's that Joey's schedules
Yeah, I know.
extends to just like the man
Instantaneous.
just knows the calendar. He's like, yeah, we'll have
Speaking
one
of
in-
schedules,
Yeah.
We're
3
not
months,
doing that topic
3
yet.
months from today,
What?
the big release day,
For what?
NFL. 3 days from today.
The
May
schedule's already
13th.
released. We already know who's everybody's playing.
Well, you don't know when.
The lineup of games.
Dear
You don't know
God.
what country in some cases.
By the way,
That's
so
true.
Joey immediately was like, we'll have one next month too. And I'm like, what? And then I remembered that
February
is 28 days.
But I feel like Joey would have an idea of if I asked him what the third Friday in October would be, he would probably have the day pretty quick.
That's the 17th.
Is he right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
Halloween's is on a Saturday.
And he's just working on but it's because his brain works so hard on these schedules, he knows the date.
So you're talking about for this upcoming year, right?
yeah.
Yeah, this upcoming
26th.
year.
Which
Yeah, they'll be-
Nebraska plays Oregon the next day. I'm wondering if that's how he works off
It's a Saturday. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
It's a Saturday.
yeah. Halloween's on a Saturday.
Nebraska plays.
Washington on Halloween, and then they
Well,
don't
Is
play on the
Joey off?
24th.
Is it the 16th?
No. The Saturday this upcoming year is the 17th.
based on your prediction. Nebraska would play Oregon on a Friday.
Oh, okay.
Unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable. So anybody care to guess the last time we had a Friday the 13th? It was within the last year.
I would say September.
June is correct. June is
Oh,
correct.
I should have known.
I beat the schedule, man.
It was the
That's my
it was
birthday
It was
month.
the opening day of the College World Series.
I'm pretty sure that was
Ping!
they either had one of their Friday night lights or that was like the Boneyard game.
Disgusting.
That's
I
the
remember
reason.
when you covered recruiting. That was terrible.
I do too, and now I don't.
All right, so Nebraska ball priorities. Lane says this: I want a 27-5 regular season and a 3 seed in the NCAA and a trip to the Sweet 16. He has very specific demands. Let's take out the record part.
So 27-5. Now I want to know where the losses are coming from.
How'd you? Oh, okay.
If he's listening, can he let us know which games are the losses? Because when people have the very specific record, I would like to know. Okay, do you think they drop one to UCLA or USC?
Is 27-5 even a possible record?
no,
20,
it'd be 26
and 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 more losses. You're saying.
So, but is he saying 27? Well, no, you couldn't do that either because you'd have to have a.
I mean, you could go 27-4 in the regular season and then lose in the first game of
Right.
the tournament.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe that's what he's saying, that they're going to lose in the quarterfinals.
I was more attracted to the 3 seed conversation and how. I mean, I think once again, I think we have already arrived at the point.
They're 27-4. They're not going to be a 3 seed.
Probably not. No, they'd be closer to a 1.
Yeah, because again,
Yeah.
I think their seeding will be known by the time they're in the Big Ten
But
tournament.
as far as like expectations are concerned, I mean, there's almost no way it could be a disappointment at this point. Like from a seeding perspective,
Sure.
there's almost
But-
like they're not going to be lower than a 4, which is like I mean, everybody would say if let me ask you this, Schaefer. If I told you that if you signed this contract, Nebraska would get a 4 seed automatically today, you know what? Actually, a 3 seed today.
Yeah, I'd sign that.
You'd sign the contract.
Yeah.
The other result is not signing the contract, and any other thing could happen.
Well, now
A
because
2 or a 1.
anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
If Nebraska had,
You probably wouldn't sign it. Actually,
I don't want to sign it.
Yeah, because that's not a. This is
I just
usually
think
the
they're
game
going to win these games.
Yeah.
Like maybe not all of them, but they have 7 left, right?
Yes.
I think 6-1 seems like it could be a very real possibility.
Yeah. And then you never know after that.
Who knows? And they turn around, they play Northwestern terrible tomorrow. But
Here
I don't
is-
think they will. I actually think tomorrow. I don't know what the line is going to be for that game, but I think it has a chance to be like Nebraska kicks someone's ass kind of game.
Ken Palm has them as a 14-point favorite at this moment.
Because they won that game on the road. Was it a 19-point win?
I think it got
where
up to that.
They
Yeah.
kind of like Northwestern hung around a little bit, and then we had like
19.
casual brutality, and they won by 19, and then we watched Buffalo and Denver play on the
God.
larger TV.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix broke his foot or whatever.
Stupid. Bo.
Second to last play of the game.
Jack John writes in on Twitter, there's big meteor people, and then there's the people saying second weekend exit incoming, as if losing in the Sweet 16 would be embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean,
It would, yeah.
you could not possibly insult me with the idea that they lost in the Sweet 16.
The only teams that is insulting for is if you are a 1 seed and a blue blood.
Yeah.
Like if you are Kentucky. If you lose in the Sweet 16, you're going to get made of. If you're going to get made fun of if you're Kentucky. If you're literally any other team, it's fine.
Well, and like, I mean, speaking of Kentucky, that could be like a 6. Nebraska could play as a 3
Yeah.
in the
But like I'm saying, Kentucky as a 1.
Right.
Like a Kentucky as a 1, they're getting made fun of for not going deeper. Duke as a 1, they're getting made fun of for not going deeper. KU as a 1, they're getting made fun of for not going deeper. If Nebraska's a 3 and they make the Sweet 16
and they're playing Princeton
and
something,
they lose to a 2, like nobody's making fun of them for it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
That's fine.
The only way, I guess, if like you played like a 14 seed and you're a 2 and the 14 seed had made the run from the 3, but then at that time, I mean, again, if you're in the second round of the NCAA tournament and you are a Nebraska basketball
Second
fan,
weekend.
Or second weekend of the NCAA tournament, and you're a Nebraska basketball fan, it is very much gravy at that point.
I agree. Chris writes in on Twitter, people are overlooking the Iowa matchups, especially the trip to Iowa City, and that's concerning. I think we could drop one of those. Yeah, but if they do, I'm already baking it into the cake that they lose one of those games.
Yeah.
Like, once again, I don't know. I don't have any sort of expectations that they're going to go undefeated the rest of the way here, but maybe some people do.
I would like them to win the one in Iowa City, if only because I'd like to see them get a little bit, like, put a couple wins in a row here, sort of thing. Because you get that, you come back with Penn State the following Saturday, you have a 3-game winning streak before what? Then you get Maryland in the middle of the 4 games, and you're going out on the West Coast, and you're finishing up with UCLA, and Iowa. That's, I think, the loss or losses are most likely to come in that stretch, but I could be wrong.
Aaron writes in on the text line, one more before we take a break here. I don't know what my priority is going to be until it hits home, but this has been the most enjoyable Husker experience of my adult life. I've got to the point where I love this team, and I'm going to be insanely proud of being a Husker fan at the end of this, or it might be the biggest gut punch of all gut punches. So I have a little bit of experience to go off of here. And Aaron finishes it with, it's everything I've come to loathe about football. I'm a proud alumni, and they are a team. Where that ends up for feelings, I won't know until the moment hits. So the only thing I could do is think back to 13-14 for Creighton. And they're in the Big East. First time in the Big East. They have the best player in the country, bar none. They are supposed to make a deep run into the NCAA tournament, and they get absolutely jacked in the head by Baylor in the second game. And it was the biggest gut punch ever. It sucked. But you remember the team fondly. Like, yeah. I have excellent feelings about Creighton, their first year in the Big East in 13-14. And no loss in the NCAA tournament will ever sully that. Now, like, it hurts to think about that game.
Is that the Villanova game where they just they hit like 43 pointers on them?
Yeah, that was the road game.
Did you get a timeout, Jay Wright?
My in-laws talk about that game with like reverence. It's largely reserved for the 94 Orange Bowl or, I don't think 97 Orange Bowl has that, but like the 94 Orange Bowl, because that's like Osborne's first. And then
I talk about it the same way. I talk about the
barrage,
2014 American League wildcard game.
In that side of my family, there's like a deep love for Rogge. And I think he was like a big catalyst of that day as well.
He hit several very long. Yeah. Creighton started 9.
There's people listening to this right now, and I'm going to get texts about it from them.
Night.
And they're telling me where they watched it and what it meant to them. And
it was a great night.
I'm just saying I don't want any.
Same night, Nebraska basketball beat Ohio State.
Yeah. They was a game-winning layup.
It was like a big win for them.
Yeah, no, I know it was a big win. For some reason I had it in my head that was when they went into Assembly Hall and won, which was a huge win for them.
I'm almost sure it was Ohio State.
You're probably right.
But yes, so to sort of go back to what Aaron was talking about there, like, I don't know, man. Like if you give it a little bit of time, it's going to hurt. You're probably going to get made fun of for it a little bit. You're going to cry, but eventually it'll be very, very good feelings about even if it ends up short of where you think it's going to go.
Assuming the win that makes history for Nebraska happens, like the feeling of this team is largely going to be how it felt watching them go on the road and beat Illinois, how it felt when they won the game against Michigan State at home, how it felt when they casually beat Wisconsin by 30 and casually crushed Creighton and casually beat Dana Altman, Oregon by 35. Like the feeling of it or the remembrance of it is going to be Sam stealing the ball away for another breakaway layup, Sanford with the quick release on a three, the pick and pop of Rink Mast against Michigan State with the critical 3-point.
That's a lot of moments already.
Like, but that's what it's going to be. Like that's what ultimately you're going to remember.
Kent getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Had a Jamarcus Lawrence 3 at the end of the game.
Like that's, those are the things that you're going to remember from the season, regardless of how it finishes, because the totality of what
It's
you
like
watched,
a fullback running through the A-hole or the B-hole.
I'll remember that.
there's going to be a lot of Kent that you're going to remember from this season.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Here's a tweet from Peter on Twitter. He writes in at Happer and Schaefer, not to look too far ahead for Husker fans, but which of these cities is most ideal for a Husker home crowd in the NCAA tournament? Gotta be St. Louis, right?
No, it's Oklahoma City.
No, it's not. It's St. Louis.
Oklahoma City is slightly closer.
You need to taste the taste of Arch Madness.
I don't want it.
You have to do it at some point.
That's where Illinois is going to go.
Have you ever thought about going to random conference tournaments?
Yeah, I have. I've done that before. I've seen the WCC. I've seen the Big Ten. I've seen the Big 12, and I've seen the Pac-12 all in my life.
I've only been to 2 conference tournaments ever, and they were the 2 best ones.
Oh, I've seen the Mountain West.
Look at that. That's absurd. You have?
Well, 3 of them came from just being in Vegas during conference tournament week, which is why I told you that it's great to go there.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Seeing the WCC championship in the Orleans Arena, which the Orleans Casino, I would never recommend to anyone, but the Orleans Arena, which gave me vibes of like the Pentagon up and like it feels like you're in a high school gym.
That's cool.
And it's really loud and it's like 99% Gonzaga fans. And it's just, they murdered them, like absolutely murdered, left the corpse on the court. And then you flood out into this awful casino and then have to get your Uber to wherever you're going to get away from it. But the arena itself was awesome. The environment was awesome. Where do they
play the WCC tournament now?
I think they still play
it the same place.
Yeah. I honestly, like, if you are in Vegas during conference tournament week, you have to find a reason to just go watch a WCC.
It is at the Orleans Arena.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And it's a cool looking venue. And the way they set up their tournament, where they put their best teams basically in the semifinals.
Who plays at the Mandalay Bay Arena? Is there a conference that plays there? Is it the Mountain West? That is Michelob Ultra.
The Mountain West played at the UNLV.
Okay, it's Thomas and Mack Center?
Yeah, which was cool because it's like it felt like going into the old Devaney, where you would walk around and you have all the like history that's in the concourse, and everything felt a little bit aged and dated because of it. And then UNLV obviously
Thomas and Mack
has
Center.
basketball
That's
history.
absurd. Why don't they use one of these new nice arenas?
I got to see Tim Miles and
Tim.
They have a bunch of arenas in Vegas.
They do.
Element.
They do. They most certainly do.
We didn't get to the WAC. That was the one I told you that was in Henderson, Nevada, where they were playing games there. And they may not. I mean, I don't know where they would play now, but the Big West at one point was playing in Vegas, but I don't think they are.
It is also at Orleans Arena.
Yeah, so they've moved theirs.
Well, it says it's been there since 1984.
So maybe was it the Big West that was in Henderson? One of them was.
Yeah, it's in Henderson.
Which one?
The Big West.
Big West is at the Dollar Loan Center, which I believe that was where Creighton played the Jack Jones Classic that one year.
Yeah,
and got smoked by all the Mountain West teams. Yeah. Okay, so shout out to the Big West. Wow, I didn't realize there was 4 conference tournaments.
That was part of the draw because we have been doing the NCAA tournament, and it's like it's a little more expensive, a little more crowded, a little harder to find the cheap blackjack tables for us poor folk.
Well, you need a little taste of Arch Madness. Yeah. You need a little taste of Madison Square Garden. I don't need
a taast of Arch Madness.
What about Madison Square Garden?
I would love to go to Madison Square Garden.
You got to go to the Big East.
It doesn't have to be for the Big East tournament.
It should be, though.
I just want to be there. Like, that is one of those venues I want to go to. I will probably to see a Knicks game.
I would avoid that. I would
go for a Knicks game?
Nah, I would avoid that.
Bad, huh?
Yeah, I would.
What if I don't go wearing Kevin Garnett's jersey?
They would harass me for just being a Celtics fan.
They harass everybody. It doesn't matter. They harass.
They are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. They think they're all there, but they have not won a championship in forever.
I sat amongst the bleacher creatures in Yankee Stadium. Like I'm familiar enough with how
these people are sick, but it's okay.
They spent the entire game yelling at Nick Swisher, telling him how much they hated him because he was no longer in New York. He waved and acknowledged him in the 6th inning, and they acted like it was the greatest thing that's ever happened.
But the fans' joy and the team's demise is good for the sport.
People,
total weird.
It's not a super fun experience because it's just random yelling.
I see the bleacher creature like leader guy. I see his TikTok sometimes. He's a weirdo.
Yeah,
sorry, but he's a weirdo.
You don't have to apologize to me.
I apologize to him. I don't know.
You don't have to apologize to him either. He knows what he is.
Okay, that's good. But no. So next year, let's go to the Big East semifinal on Friday night.
if you're like,
Let's
hey,
go.
we're gonna do the show from New York City, and work
that's what we're
is
gonna
like,
do.
yeah, you're doing the show from New York City.
Yeah,
I'm not
we'll
gonna
be
say
there.
no.
What's the Big East tournament?
I'm certainly not gonna say no to that.
All right. Schedule it up. We're going to the Big East semifinals
I'm gonna let Shelby. If we do this, can I convince you we need to do the show from New Jersey when Nebraska plays Rutgers and they're at playing in Atlantic City for basketball against Providence?
Oh yeah, that's right.
If that's in the same 3-day stretch, can we do that?
Or how about this? Nebraska plays Rutgers same day. Creighton plays at Seton Hall on the Jersey side.
Yeah,
because Seton Hall's in Newark.
That would have to happen in the winter at the same time.
That's true.
This is that Nebraska plays Rutgers at roughly the same time they might be playing Providence.
The ultimate
in football.
Oh, in football.
Rutgers football, and then Nebraska Providence hoop ball.
Okay.
I mean, in theory, it could all line up.
The zone goes to Jersey.
I don't know why you want to go to Jersey so bad.
Jersey zone.
Jersey Shore.
Jersey zone.
I have no need to go to Atlantic City or anywhere near it.
I just want to go watch Providence play Nebraska.
I would like to watch. Maybe you could watch Providence play in this Big East semifinal on Friday night next year.
I was looking at Creighton's schedule, wondering if I was going to use available tickets to me to go watch them play at any point. And they play Providence on the 28th. And I was like, yeah, that could be an opportunity. But I'm already booked that day.
Sad. Joey, wake up. I got one thing for you before we take a break here.
Oh, what you got for me?
So the NFL
schedules?
Someone say schedules?
Someone did say schedules, and that person is me. We know how the NFL is going to Australia next year with
Indeed, we do.
The 49ers and the Rams. As you have previously suggested, although this hasn't been confirmed by the league, I don't think, it will be week 1. It will be to open the season. So, as we talked about at the time, it's quite tenuous to travel all the way across the world and then back and then still play a normal NFL schedule the next week. And so, knowing that the original opening day for the NFL is that Thursday, featuring the Super Bowl champion, featuring the
Super Bowl champion hosting.
So this won't be that game then.
No, it won't be that game from the look of it.
Huh.
If they're going to play on Wednesday.
Interesting. So it won't be this. So there might be 2 Thursday, but this will be weird.
Well, it'll be a Wednesday game potentially, which would be the Australia game. It would be Thursday over there.
So it won't open the season in theory. Anyway, hear me out. The NFL is planning
it's complicated.
to open its season on Wednesday, September 9th, based on some reporting from John Orand of Puck coming up. So obviously you have the Rams 49ers International Series from Melbourne. And
so that'll be the first game of the season.
That will likely be the first game of the season with the Thursday opener coming up the next day. With Friday unavailable, Orand reported Thursday that the Melbourne game will take place either Wednesday or Thursday of opening week. Whichever date the Melbourne game is scheduled will determine when the kickoff game hosted by the Seahawks takes place. Regardless of the order, it would seem based on Orand's sources that the next NFL season will begin with back-to-back games on Wednesday and Thursday. It'll sort of be odd if the first game of the season isn't featuring the Super Bowl champion.
It's happened before. 2019 opened up Packers and Bears for the 100th NFL season. Famously, both teams did not win. And I think it's happened when someone won the Super Bowl a few years prior and they did not open at their place. I think it was a Patriots season.
I would love the idea of a Thursday night doubleheader to open the NFL season.
I feel like I need to be eased into it. Like, can we just have a game?
Both.
Can we have one game? I don't want to sit in my front of the TV for 6 hours.
And then have to wake up super early the next day.
You could find something else to do if your time, but why would you?
Or I don't feel the responsibility to watch the NFL game.
We could watch the replay.
You should feel a responsibility to watch the
I'm
NFL.
a sports talk radio host.
Just as a human, you should feel a responsibility to watch the NFL game.
I am of sports. I'll be watching no matter what, but I might complain about it.
So who do we think the Seahawks are going to play in their first game, Joey?
They're going to play the Bears. I think they're going to play the Bears.
You think the Bears?
I think just with how their season's been, winning a bunch of big games, they're going to
Feels like a hot.
It feels like a hot game.
Mhm.
The Super Bowl champion against an up and coming team.
Wow.
That's
At home against the Bears to open the season.
Bear down.
watch the Bears get annihilated.
I don't hate the idea, certainly.
I love
Sounds
the idea.
fun.
Though I
Everybody's
did watch
falling in
them
love.
lose their season opener this year, and it didn't prevent the Bears from winning 11 games.
They did.
They even lost to J.J. McCarthy.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I know.
Imagine
and I
that.
enjoyed that.
Embarrassing.
All right, Jake Sorensen is our next guest. He's up on the other side on 1620 The Zone. All right. Welcome back. More of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. We head to the Prairie Fire Casino Zone hotline now to speak with our favorite Bill Moose interviewer, our favorite Bill Moose conduit, Jake Sorensen from 93.7 The Ticket. Hi, Jake.
Gentlemen, good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. What are you up to?
Well, chilling, hanging out, ready for the weekend. Have some beers tomorrow before the game against Northwestern, hopefully win and get back on track.
Will you be attending the game?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be. I'm curious. I haven't talked to the bars in the Haymarket. Noon game. I like to get out there about 2 hours before to, check in the libations and see what's out there.
Smart.
I don't know if bars open at 10 a.m. tomorrow on a Saturday. Usually it's 11. I don't know what the scene's going to be tomorrow.
Should we meet up before the game?
Well, that's an obvious yes. I saw you before the game at the arena.
Yeah, that was just
Tuesday.
by chance. You happened to turn around in the same concession line that I was in.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that the bars will be open by 10? Schaefer tomorrow?
I know of one that usually does a pretty good job of being open early for these tips because they're, I don't know, manager or the owner or what, but he sits right next to me at basketball games and
you can say
genuinely, gate 20, gate 25. I mean, they're the basketball.
We went to a
bars,
place early before in a basketball game once.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
It was when Tab was here and it was a UCLA game and it was
gate 25.
No, it was not. It was not gate 25. It was over by Brewski's. What's the one by Brewski's?
Buzzard Billy's.
Buzzard Billy's. We went to Buzzard Billy's.
Yeah, that's like they have a brunch,
spot.
so they'll definitely be open.
There you go.
So we could meet, if nothing else, Jake, we could meet at Buzzard Billy's.
You think at 10 they're open, Schaefer? I mean, I don't know.
I could have sworn we went there early.
No, they have a brunch now. They do like they open early on Saturdays and then sell breakfast food. So I would
we'll convene.
I would expect them to be open. But yeah, I'll have my people text your people and we'll meet up tomorrow.
Excellent.
Speaking of tomorrow with Nebraska ball, Jake, I think I wonder if you saw this list of all of the alumni that are going to be back. Oh, yeah. So I was curious immediately when I saw this because you are one of the foremost people of like naming old Nebraska ball guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do a great job. And so there's a lot of great names on here. And I'm wondering some of them that popped out to your eyes first.
Oh, thank you for asking. The one I'm most excited about. I think he's been back before, not often. When young Jake, I was 10. Favorite player ever. Benson Hamilton, dominant center. Last pick of the second round of the Rockets. They get back in 98 or 99. Will be back. Of course, Teron Lewis is going to be back. He will not be back now, which is unfortunate for this event. But number one, it's got to be Benson Hamilton. Number two, Danny Nee, the former coach. That's the two that stand out. I mean, no shot at anybody that I didn't mention. We had Dave Hoppin this morning to show up. Dave's great, but those are the two. You want me to point out?
Well, I thought you were going to go to deeper cuts.
Well, Nate Johnson, early 2000s, going to be back. I mean,
yeah.
No one ever talks about Nate Johnson.
False. He was part of the blind rankings.
These are early 2000s guys that no one ever talks about. That the hardcore guys know they were dudes.
I thought you were going to go to Bronson Schleep for sure.
No.
Also an early 2000s walk on. Went to dentistry school.
He's an orthodontist in Lincoln now.
There we go. See, I'm all about these things.
Big teeth guy.
So I said when Happer brought this up, he's like, I want to ask Jake this. I was like, I'm going to go a step further. I want you to build me your starting 5 lineup of Nebraska alumni. You can start whoever you want. Like, it doesn't have to be the best players. You can just wherever you want to go. But I need a point guard, a shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. However you want to construct.
All right. Well, I have a bunch of random guys that people probably won't know. I mean, I got to go with a friend and also I think one of the best, maybe the best shooter ever in Nebraska history. I got to go Kerry Cohorn, the shooting guard.
Knew that was
all-time 3-point leader. I saw him hit 8 threes against Kansas in a game that Keith Langford beat Nebraska at the buzzer. I cried for about 10 minutes after the game when I was about, 9 or 10, whatever it was. Still have not forgiven Keith Langford here 25 years later. If I see him, I would not shake his hand in Lincoln. Okay, so Kerry Cohorn at the 1. Benson Hamilton's got to be my center.
Okay.
I mentioned him. He's got to be my guy there. And then it gets interesting. point guard. I think. I mean, Teron Lou's got to be the guy to go to, right?
Doesn't
Does it
have to be.
Teron
It's
Lue?
your team. I wouldn't
I think
put
it
him as
has
my
to
point
be.
guard.
You could put Benny Parker.
Cookie Miller if you wanted to.
Well, Benny Parker's going to be off the bench on my team. I like Benny. I don't think he's my starter.
The Energizer Benny.
Yeah, I love. I don't know if I could do him at. I can't do him at small forward. I guess I want to get Cookie Belcher on this name ever for
Well,
Nebraska.
you can. You don't. It doesn't have to be a small forward. If you want to play 3 guards, play 3 guards. It's Jake
Fine,
Sorensen's
we're doing
team.
3 guards. Yeah, we're going to Ron Lou. We're going to hit Kerry Cohorn. We're going to go. And then I guess one more guy. Jesus, is tough. Man, power forward.
Siobhan Shields.
You probably need someone
Well,
that can
like
shoot
him.
to stretch the court spacing if you're worried about that kind of thing.
Let's
If your
go with the,
fictitious team is playing anyone.
Let's go with the random one because that's the best part of all this. Let's go like power forward, the guy that shot threes, was super skinny but hilarious. Let's go Brian Conklin from back in the day.
Okay, I love it.
You have we have created one of the worst defensive teams I could ever imagine, except for Vincent Hamilton.
Well, yeah, it's basically just funnel everything into Hamilton and let him swat. I mean, that's basically what it is.
I'm going to look back and regret the Conklin decision, but I panicked. I didn't have a name for him. And I love Siobhan Shields. I didn't want to put him on my team. So I love him, but let's go with the random Brian Conklin. We'll probably lose because he's on my team, but I don't care.
I like it.
Who's coaching him?
Guy.
Oh, there you go.
Man. Well, I got to go with Fred. Fred's been off.
I thought about
Happy
taking
to see
Fred away from
16.
you, and then I think it's Danny Nee. By
Okay,
default,
well, then
but
I'll go Danny Nee then.
Yeah.
Danny.
I think that's fair.
No love for Doc or Barry.
No, I mean, again, I love them. Lovable guys. Those teams were not good at all. Barry Collier, if Joe McCray worked out, that might have panned out better for Barry. It didn't work out. He helped get, obviously, Alex Marge, who's an icon for Nebraska basketball. Didn't pan out much beyond, Olympic stuff, I think, or going overseas. But, you know what? I take it back. I'm sorry. I'm replacing Conklin with Alex Marge.
Yeah, I figured once you said that.
That is a weird lineup. Wouldn't Hamilton be more the power forward there?
We got Vincent and Marge down low. Good luck. Good luck. We're gonna take you guys down.
Jorge Brian Diaz probably would have made my team. Would be my guess.
Jorge Brian Diaz did not make the roster, sadly.
No, he wouldn't have been on.
He was cut in the first round. All right, so we were talking about this earlier. What are your priorities for what do you want to see happen like the most as like when the season ends, whether it's confetti,
acknowledging that Nebraska wins a game in the NCAA tournament. Absent of that, what is the next most important thing for you?
I would think, obviously that's the big one. I think advancing to the Sweet 16 is big. It's second weekend. We never experienced the win. We never experienced anything of success in the tournament. So, I mean, we all know that even if Nebraska gets to a 2 seed, which I don't think is going to happen, it could be a 2 or a 3. Let's say they're a 2, though. You're playing in the second round, a 7 or a 10 seed. Those games always result in upsets. And I saw one bracket that had like what Kentucky is a 7 seed. Yeah, they're having a down year for Kentucky standards, but Kentucky in the dance, athletes, they know how to win in the dance, and so that's terrifying. So that'd be a huge statement to get to the Sweet 16 and see what happens beyond that. I would like this team to win a game in the Big Ten tournament. Hopefully get to the semis or the finals. I mean, if they get a triple bye as one of the top 4 seeds, I don't want to see them come out of the gates and lose the first round or that quarterfinal round to somebody and just go into the postseason on that note of not having a postseason win. So I think, obviously, the one you guys said, winning a tournament game, I think winning 1 or 2 games in the Big Ten tournament to have a good taste in your mouth going into the dance, and also Sweet 16. I mean, this team is doing things we have not seen since 1990, 91 for Nebraska basketball. I want to see them avenge that disappointing end of the season and see what they can do. I think they really have a chance to win a couple games.
Would you be willing to trade a seed line? So you drop 1 seed line, but I assure you Nebraska wouldn't lose to Iowa basketball at all in the 2026 calendar.
Well,
so if they played them in the Big Ten tournament, it would be a win.
I know I'd counter by saying that's the toughest game left for Nebraska. They have
they go 2-0. I'm
They're not gonna
guaranteeing you
drop a
2-0,
seed line
but
if they beat Iowa. I'm just going to bounce back in hypothetical. If they beat Iowa twice, they're not going to drop a seed line because they're going to win all these other games.
you don't
I
know
can't
that.
go with the hypothetical, Shafe. I mean, unless they somehow, lose to Penn State at home, Maryland at home, and Northwestern. Obviously, there'd be tough games against USC, UCLA, end of February, early part of March, which are scary. But if they sweep Iowa and beat them a third time in the Big Ten tournament, they're going to go up a seed line. It's hypothetical. It makes no sense.
It's a fake question. It's just like
The idea of being
you
basically
have to
like
suspend reality.
if they go
Fine.
if they lose to
Okay,
both
if we're gonna be a
USC.
The question is, which would you rather have?
Does it mean more if you'd rather be a 2 or beat Iowa in every opportunity?
Okay, I'm taking down Iowa. Screw them.
All right.
Give me the 3 seed in Iowa.
See,
I'm
that
fine with
was all
Fine.
it was.
I know. The hypothetical makes me angry because I don't like Iowa. I don't like the thought of dropping seeds by beating them too. But
I understood
It
what I
doesn't
was
make any
asking.
sense.
All right, let me add it on to it. This Nebraska drops 2 seed lines in basketball, but Nebraska beats Iowa in every basketball game and guarantees a win against them in Black Friday.
Yes. Sign me up. Sign me the hell.
So you
up
take a
for
4
that.
seed
Yes.
then,
Yeah, I take a 4 seed. Yep.
if you knew that Nebraska would beat Iowa on Black Friday.
Now we get into some fun territory. Yeah.
Yes.
Cross
yes.
sports
Okay, but the answer to
hypotheticals.
that is hands down yes on that.
I think
one.
people would trade a lot of things for a win against Iowa in football on Black Friday. Like a
Probably.
lot, you know? Some people would be like, just sacrifice this whole basketball team.
I would not like those people.
No, I don't agree to those terms. No.
There are Jake.
Out on that.
We have heard from the people over the years who were like, well, I mean, it was a thing like last year at this time. They were like, why do we do this team, this sport again?
I mean, there's a prominent fan blog that was like, hey, they shouldn't give any money to basketball ever and just give it all to the football team.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Well, that's why, again, you go back to this era of Fred Hoiberg, why it's been so just bizarre. I mean, and I will take a shot at one person. Matt Abdelmassih does a very poor job off the bat. If you want to blame anybody for the faults of this team early on, it's Matt Abdelmassih. He did a terrible, terrible, terrible job of constructing a roster that Fred probably gave him too much control and it did do his job in terms of getting the roster made for himself and assessing guys. And that's just put this program so far back in the first couple of years of Fred. And now he's gone and Fred's a bigger part of the equation in recruiting guys that fit his roster and what he wants to do. And now you're seeing the results of that. So I'm sad we were robbed of any joy for 3 years with Fred, but I guess now it's kind of worth it with what they're doing right now.
And now you're back to firing off Hoiberg tweets. So it's all good.
I am. Yeah, a lot of Hoiberg tweets getting fired off.
And
right now.
and Matt also gone from St. John's, by the way. So
Yeah, he
there's
should be gone from college basketball.
as well. Okay. So in your
be gone from just walking around in society.
maybe
I mean, we're getting to
That's up for discussion.
the end point here.
I listened to your guys' conversation with Bill Moose earlier in the week, and I was left with one question. I texted Sipple about it. I want to ask you as well. Were you able to ever glean why in the world Jim Pillen hates Dana Altman so much? Why?
Oh, I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
It is crazy. No, that is a huge takeaway. And it's funny because I'm sure you guys saw this, that, before we had Bill on, we were talking about the quotes, and Sip was talking about the quotes in the book on Tuesday, I believe, before we had Bill on. And we mentioned that he brought up Jim Pillen saying no to Altman. And
Just
someone
no.
from Pillen's team quote tweeted that, we put a clip out of that. Someone from his office quote tweeted that and just put up a screenshot of this year's Nebraska-Oregon game.
So weird.
His official account. So it's
so
like,
weird.
He's like, yep, I doubled down on it. I meant that. It's strange. And Bill has a great point. The guy is as Nebraska as it gets. He's from Wilbur. Yes, he coached at Creighton. I think that Pillen maybe, again, is just such a UNL advocate, I guess, that anybody associated with Creighton he didn't want. I don't stand by that take. You guys know me. I would have gladly had Dana Altman. I think he's a phenomenal coach. Creighton has success with him. Oregon's has great success. I don't get it. I don't understand that at all.
The thing that's weird about it, though, is that allegedly they were already engaged with Fred Hoiberg in conversations at that point, because if this happened at the Iowa game that Nebraska won on an Amir Harris layup, by the way, for those that really want a name drop. when Johnny Trueblood blocked whoever the Iowa 3-point shooter was at that time and helped set that all up. They won that last
Jordan
game.
Bohannon.
I think it was.
Mm.
I think it was.
Yeah, I
and
think
so,
you're right.
Allegedly this conversation took place before that game. They were already talking to Fred Hoiberg at that point. So,
Weird.
I mean, I could see why you wouldn't want Dana if you're going to get Hoiberg if you think that that's better for your program. But
Well,
I don't know
say
that
this
that's
too.
the either or in that scenario.
And again, there's always, we all know, there's two sides to all stories, and someone would certainly fire back on things that Bill Moose said and say this is how it went. But this is not the first time we've heard this. We know there's been issues higher up in Nebraska with just how the chancellor, the president, everybody aligns and regions get involved. And it's this is another example of just who's running Nebraska, who's in charge. If the AD says that he had limited control on basically who he could hire and was brought in to hire these guys and fire these guys, again, we'll see what the other people would say about the situation. But that's a pretty critical voice saying stuff that is very believable. I don't have a lot of reason to push back on everything. I could push back on maybe some stuff he said, but
sure,
a lot of stuff he said is very believable, and I think that it is a red flag about this university and how they operate.
That's it's been weird for a long time.
It has.
That's for sure. All right, Jake, we got to let you go. We appreciate you jumping on as always. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Jake Sorensen from 93.7 at Siggy. You can find him weekday mornings from 6 to 9 out there. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, round things out for the week next on 1620 The Zone. Once again, before we go, happy college baseball opening day. However you may be celebrating, some people observe privately. Some people observe very publicly. We have 2 games in progress right now. Yes, it is 9:44 in the morning here in Baseball Town, USA. Would you like score updates, Schaefer?
Of course.
All right, perfect. Turn your mic on, by the way. So we have
Of course.
Houston 5, Wake Forest, top 25 Wake Forest, College World Series, the contender, Wake Forest, 0 in the bottom of the 4th inning of the Puerto Rico Challenge. And over in the Kennesaw State Tournament, is what they're calling it, Marshall and Evansville just underway, 0-0. There's your college baseball scoreboard presented by
Something.
anybody. MD West.
Yeah, it could be you.
It could be you. It could be. I don't think that we'll do the college baseball scoreboard every day.
If
but
someone wants to sponsor it, we sure will.
enjoy the baseball. I have very much enjoyed seeing all the hype videos and the jersey releases and just the general feeling of spring nearly being sprung.
Do you have any college baseball predictions you'd like to make? Is there anyone you're like, they're definitely going to be here in Omaha?
No, I don't know enough about anybody
either.
else. Yeah, I wish I did.
It'd be great, dude. I think it'd be fun to be like a college baseball expert. There can't be that many of them.
There's not. There's more than
It's
there
like-
ever was.
It's like
but,
Aaron,
yeah.
Aaron Fitt and
Kendall Rogers,
Kendall Rogers,
all
Nick
the
Grimm.
D1 baseball guys.
Those are the
Nick
three.
Grimm, of course, the inventor of the slice.
A good
score.
old pal Noah Darling traveling somewhere for baseball.
Where is our
Mike
dear
Farron.
friend
Is Mike
Kyle?
Farron a college baseball expert or a college baseball broadcaster?
I would call him an expert. He knows.
Expert?
He knows
Okay.
ball. Yeah, he knows ball. He's at an ACC site most weekends. I wonder where our good friend Kyle Peterson is at this weekend.
Oh, good
Now,
question.
that would be a guy that we should have on the show because he's got a great voice.
Yeah, sign me up.
He should
I'm in.
do all of the hype videos for everyone across
Okay.
the country. Have you ever heard Kyle Peterson's voice?
Well, yes, because I've heard him call stuff before,
He's
but
got a great hype video voice.
it's like hard for me to distinguish his voice from other voices just off the cuff.
some people don't have great hype video voices. Like maybe I have a decent voice, but I don't have a hype video voice. And with that being said, I've done hype videos. I did a hype video, and I think I'm going to do another hype video soon.
A lot of times, my opinion on broadcasters is largely informed on how I feel about their voice. Just like the straight sound of which
That
like,
is bad news for us.
Kevin Harlan, elite broadcaster voice. It just sounds like it matters.
But it doesn't even matter what he's saying.
Yeah, no, he could just be calling the squirrel crossing the road, and you'd be like, "This is incredible."
He's drunk, but there he goes.
It'll make
Yeah.
everything important.
With that being said, college baseball getting underway today. There has been, just want to talk about this real quick. There's been a topic of conversation going around about how there's some growing momentum to push the season back.
Yeah,
If that was the case, then we would lose today. And
we would lose today.
We would lose next week. And spring may have actually sprung by the time baseball starts, which is a little odd. I mean, it would take some getting used to. Obviously, it would be a significant game changer for the northern teams, but like we would lose this day, which is still supposed to kind of be in the dead of winter, where it's like, oh wow, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
If the grapefruit and the cactus leagues have started before college baseball starts, does it lose some momentum that regard? Because now you get to own like your games that matter right now.
That's a good point.
These are baseball games that matter in the United States in a way that other baseball games do not.
I don't know that people pay attention to college
They do
baseball more. Right. But yeah, there's something special about opening day in that regard.
I mean, you get to be on MLB Network right now because your games are existing while other games do not.
Yep.
And that helps grow you a little bit. Now, would you trade that to have less weeks of frigid cold while you're trying to practice and prepare? Probably.
It would also, I mean, think about how hot it is, the College World Series right now.
Ugh.
Think about how hot it would be if it was in July.
I'm just thankful
Oh,
it's not
boy.
in August.
If it was in July or August, we'd be
You'd be baking
we'd be in trouble.
and not great.
Last year I started bringing multiple pants and multiple shirts, which is a great call by me, great call. But I would need maybe 3 to 4 if that was the case. We'd be rink mass sweating, baby.
I like the idea of you walking out before the start of the 2:00 game, being like, "This game calls for multiple pants.
We're gonna need. I'm gonna change it to 15.
I need to get 5 innings out of these pants."
All right, that will do it for us today and for the week. Appreciate you listening. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.